Good morning. It's Monday, 22nd February 2021, and I'd like to share this test with you. It's something that I learned yesterday. I actually read it from the back of a car. I saw the quotation, I went home to open it, and I think I liked it. So I'd like to share with you James chapter 1, verse 17, and there it reads that all perfect gift and all things that are good, they come from up above and from the Father of light. And I don't know about you, but for me, I believe there could be no better gift than life. And so if you have life, if you have air in your lungs and blood running through your vessels and all that, then you know that you have received the best, the biggest gift that anyone can ever give you. And so you have all reasons to be grateful. Praise your maker, step out and glorify his name by being productive, by doing something meaningful. My name is Francis Kusi. I am the Chairman Junior, and this is how I welcome you to the AM Ghana show here on Adoatv television. As we do always, when we sit here, then you know that it's time to be fed with all the current relevant information, all the happenings in Ghana and sometimes around the globe that you need to hear. We'll feed you with all that. And talking about happenings in Ghana, then we know we have a lot to talk about because so many things are happening, so many things. And Ghana, we are expecting our first batch of the COVID-19 vaccines today. So the first batch of the COVID-19 vaccines are expected to come into the country today. So get yourself ready. For all you know, you might be taking your shot the day after. So get yourself ready. And then also Supreme Court will be active today. The 2020 presidential election petition shall resume, and the court is set to hear the application for review from the petitioner, review of the court's verdict or decision to not allow them reopen their case to subpoena the Electoral Commission chairperson, Madam Jane Mensah. So we'll get updates from that and bring you live pictures for the time is due. And then also the Parliament House, the vetting process shall continue. 2 minister nominees will have their turns today as they sit in front of the Appointments Committee of Parliament and make their case, justify their inclusion, why they should be confirmed or approved. I'm talking about the minister nominee for the Sanitation and Water Resources Ministry, and then also the minister nominee for roads. So these two will have their turn today and tomorrow, 3, the next day 3, and all that. We'll have a look at that one also. And LGBT, still big on the agenda. We will look at that one also. And some other current relevant information all coming up on the show AM Ghana on Adoatv television. I'm not alone. I am with the man that I call the Shakespeare of our time, because he can use words like no one's business. Some people try to limit him to be the Kaswa Shakespeare, but I know he's beyond. His level is way beyond the Kaswa enclave. So he is the Shakespeare of our time, not the Ghana Shakespeare, but the General Shakespeare of our time. Talking about Reginald Ade. Welcome, bro. Welcome.
Thank you. Anyways, a very good morning to our viewers. A very good morning to you, Francis. It's a Monday morning, and we are grateful to be here. And thank God for how far He has brought us. It's been a great, stressful, exciting weekend, insightful weekend as well. Some took this weekend to mourn their loved ones. And let me say, rest in peace to my very own uncle who passed on a week ago. And so you see me in black today. I'm observing a week after my uncle's passing. May his soul rest in peace, and may the souls of all who have passed on rest in peace. But hey, it's a Monday morning and we bring to you good tidings. We are still in the Lenten season, and as Christians, especially of the Orthodox faith, the Catholic faith, talking about the Catholics, the Anglicans, Methodists, if so be it, observing a period of 40 days of fasting. May the Lord grant you strength as you observe your Lenten period in the name of the Lord. And I won't sit and allow my very friend Francis intimidate me with Bible quotations. I'll also pick this one from James chapter 4 verse 6. It says that God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble, which is why, as a Reginald as I am, and seeking the Lord's grace, I always call myself your humble servant. And this morning, Francis would definitely, as he has definitely taken us through some of the topics that we'll be touching on today, and we will be serving you with these and more as and when they come our way. We'll be speaking to some experts on some of the specific topics that we have picked via Zoom, and we'll be delving into these very ones. Let me share this with you. I don't know how your weekend was. I don't know how your day, even your day to day, would be. I don't know how your life has been from time immemorial, or perhaps from your infancy, from the get-go that you touched this earth. But I spoke to a friend who is in bed due to COVID-19. And he says to me that the fluctuating nature of his predicament currently, he always thanks God, especially when the situation is bad. Yes, he thanks God when the situation is bad. Why? Because every day for him is as worse as the word worse can be. Every day for my friend is as worse as the word worst can be. And he thinks that even a day that it becomes bad, he would be grateful. So how about you? Who has a better situation this morning? How about you who has it all good this morning? Do you have any reason not to thank God at all? Well, sing some songs of praises. And if you can't, if you're an Anglican, pick your Book of Common Prayer, flip to the Te Deum Laudamus and sing. We praise thee, O God. We acknowledge thee to be the Lord this morning. Well, my name is Reggie Adi, and I'll be your co-host for this morning, AM Ghana.
First of all, I would like to say my heart goes out to you and the loss of your uncle. I didn't know.
Well,
I thought you started your next month is what?
Next month is March. Okay, that is the Heritage Month.
Heritage Month. No. You started your Heritage Month early. So Heritage Month come early for you. But okay, so condolences. But I want to get this stickler. Are you signing up for a Bible challenge with me? So
well, I can't. We can go on about it right now. If you want to bring it on, bring it on. Bring it on. If you want it now, we go. Bring it on.
Okay. Me,
I'm challenging you.
Do with my childhood days.
Bring it on, Francis.
All right, then it's on. It's on. So we are going to flex our Bible powers. Yeah. I quote and you quote.
Yeah.
So today we went to James.
Yeah.
I did James and you also did James.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever you take me, I'll get you there.
I won't take the New James is in the New Testament. Yeah. So tomorrow we're going to the Old Testament. I know it's in the New Testament because I opened it yesterday.
Very well.
And I know it's in there. So
it's right there.
We're going to the Old Testament tomorrow. But let's acknowledge our sponsors. Yaksen Herbal products, they are on the market, and the Yaksen natural capsules. There are some men. One thing that I've observed is that most men are now claiming that they have recovered from COVID-19 and they are experiencing the side effects of COVID-19, which is erectile dysfunction. Meanwhile, they've never been infected in the first place, not to talk of having recovered. But they are there saying that since I recovered, you know that even the doctors have said it's a likely side effect, erectile dysfunction. Massa, you've never had COVID-19. You've had your problem even before COVID-19 came because you've never thought to purchase or use Yaksen natural capsules. So I'm telling you this morning, get rid of this erectile dysfunction and stop giving credit to COVID-19 and all that. Go and get Yaksen natural capsules. You can come and thank me later. Yaksen natural capsules. It works like magic. So it will make you be the man that you ought to be. You can enjoy. So after a hard day's work, you go home, then you know you have Yaksen natural capsules. And because you have the Yaksen natural capsules, you can enjoy, which is all that man is supposed to do. Man has got to enjoy. And then also Yaksen Co capsules for the treatment of piles. Yaksen Co capsules. Co piles. So I always say that piles can make you get constipation. And when you have constipation, you know that you can't, empty your bowels easily. Your bowels will be stuffed and you begin to get a big belly. And that one can be bad. Like Niashi here in our studios. He's beginning to develop some big belly, which it looks like a sikafro, but I know definitely it's not sikafro. So if it's not sikafro, then the likelihood that it might be a cocoa flu is very high. So,
when your microphone goes off, it's not me. Okay.
He's the sound guy. So
Yeah.
as I'm saying, if you are not hearing what I'm saying, it means he's turned my sound off. But if you are hearing, then she definitely needs to get Yaxin cool capsules to get his belly down. For the likes of Uncle Reg and Reginald Robertson, we know the source of their this thing. That one is Sikafro. So that one there, we have no problem. But she gets Yaxin cold capsules. And also for the ladies, if you use Yaxin cold capsules, it will put you in a comfort zone when it's that time of the month. No one will ever notice that you're flowing. It will be very smooth and very comfortable for you. Then you have all things easy. Also, Yaxin herbal mixture for the treatment of malaria and jaundice. Malaria, as we all know, can be very, 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 very dangerous. And the discomfort and the pains that it will put you through, even if it doesn't kill you, you will know that you have really suffered. You will be sweating profusely, general body weakness, you'll be weak like that. You can't eat. Even your favorite meal will be put in front of you, and it will be like when Sarkodia went abroad, it was like Talia Kenya Frayafa, like that. It will be like some ordinary food for you. Meanwhile, it's your favorite. So on a good day, you would have finished that in a matter of minutes. But because of one small mosquito, you can't even finish your favorite food. Not even finish. You can't even take about 3 or 4 spoons. So get Yaxin herbal mixture, and then also the Yaxin herbal soap for the treatment of all kinds of skin diseases. Migo purified drinking water is your preferred way to stay hydrated. When you think water, then you need to think Migo. Don't just drink any water like that, because water is life. Water is life. That much we know. So the water that you are drinking goes a long way to add into your life. So if you drink any water, it's your own life that you are living anyhow. That's why you need to drink Migo, purified drinking water. It has all the essential nutrients and all the essential qualities that every good drinking water should have. So that one is a plus for you. As you keep taking Migo, you know that you'll be adding some hours to your age. So hours, then it will turn to days, then weeks, then months, then years. So Migo will be giving you extra years. So make sure you get Migo purified drinking water. And then also Adoatv roofing and cookware. Adoatv roofing sheets. If we say we want to talk, we can talk because plenty to talk about when it comes to Adoatv roofing sheets. They are of high quality, bright colors, beautiful colors, and anti-fading and anti-rusting properties. So you buy them, the colors will not rust, and then they will not fade. They will not rust, they will not fade, and then they are very strong when you put them on your building. They are nail free, but they have a very special way of putting them on your building that whether rain, storm, or anything, your roof will still be intact. While other people's roof will be flying in the skies like a kite, your own will be stuck. And when you sleep, you can sleep comfortably. You can have a very sound sleep because you know where you bought your roofing sheets from. Adoatv roofing sheets. Then they have the cookware department where they produce cooking pots and cooking utensils and all that. So for the restaurant owners and the chopper operators and the good wives and the good ladies, whether you are married or not, for utensils and cooking pots and all that, they are very necessary, especially if you're a woman. So if you think you are preparing, you are getting ready for anyway, you are getting ready not for marriage only. As a woman, whether you are married or not, you need to get these things by your side. So
they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. If you cook and you don't cook in the right pots, your food always ends up burning. If you like turn the fire density to lowest or most minimum, it will still burn because you are not using Adoatv cooking ware. Use Adoatv cooking ware and you will realize that you can even fry. There is a secret that I have to share with you. Maybe you didn't know, but you can fry egg without oil. Well, contact Adoatv for more information on that one. It is only when you're using authentic cooking ware that you can cook and cook healthy. Yes.
So Reginald Ade apparently knows more about food.
Yes. Yes. Very.
Even though he's Lenten, he can still say all these things about food. So it tells you, you know your meals here. It's the name of a town in Obuasi. Food is sweet.
Oh, really?
So that's it. So Adoatv roofing sheet and then Adoatv cookware. These are our proud sponsors on the AM Ghana show. But we'll be doing the newspaper headlines very shortly. Let's go for a turn. And when we come back, then we take you through the papers and see what stories that they featured.
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it, and wash your hands with soap and the running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868. Or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and the running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092 57754 020 9494 258 or visit our marketing decks at Stepwork premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
John, what you know? Wow, Eddie, one boy chuma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatek. Oh, na Simon, roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catcher? Asatek roofing sheet today, and your nice keke with the bodan swa a chee and renache. They want to call us a hood of a fair baby bray. No free roofing sheet no dear. Who hear that will be out? Now, so the bodan swa a hero supampe. What means to trauma send your open roofing sheet? You tell the salmon pepe. Mama po Asatek money there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers nso a your on-site installation ne bo so kra da fam pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da fam nyi. Asatek 5 days pay na mo sa kan order na wo ye after sales service proper bi nso hwehwe Asatek wo Tema Community 2 Meridian Road Ebenkoko Board Warehouse Western Region. So Asatek wo Takrade Anaji ye ne Princeland Hotel ene di hwene mu and Volta Region ye wo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha.
Super na wanya pomuden se wo benum nso a hwe hu se eye mega purified mineral water eye nso a yetu ni baby pa asaso ne so se kroje se wonya mega purified mineral water bogu ubu a wo see you manum super mega mineral water de edanso esan say the modern technology so na aye ede na nkabia ne atri mega purified mineral water bacteria na mhen wa bewrem eye very hygienic obia di wadanse mega mineral water neatly packaged with 500 ml bottles mu na wani bosua na okon donsio wo benya mega purified mineral water to bebia to phone call dodo wa amount 40 per junction and now for 050 7055 409 and now 055 392 1088 mega purified mineral water akona kono.
Welcome back. Let's do the newspaper headlines now, and I'll begin with the Daily Graphic. Accept election petition outcome. Accept election petition outcome. Justice Atukuba advises Ghanaians. Accept election petition outcome. Justice Atukuba advises Ghanaians. A retired justice of the Supreme Court, Justice William Atukuba, has admonished Ghanaians to embrace the outcome of the 2020 presidential election petition in good faith. So you can continue reading from the front page and then also on page 3. Okay, so something small here, the introduction at the front page and then the continuation on page 3 of the Daily Graphic. Bui Power integrates 6 new models for project affected people. Bui Power integrates 6 new models for project affected people. See page 23 for details of that one. There is a picture of Mr. Fredowari, CEO of Bui Power Authority there. And then also page 3 has this story, pay civil servants as politicians. Sam Jonah is saying, pay civil servants as politicians. Sam Jonah is saying this on page 3. I'm sure it will be an interesting story that you would want to know more about. Get a copy of the Daily Graphic. Mahama pursues EC boss again to testify. Page 16 has details of that. So I've said earlier that the Supreme Court will be active today and there will be action. Mahama pursues EC boss again to testify. Page 16 has details of that. Let's go to the back page. Some sports stories. Hearts subdue dwarfs. Hearts subdue dwarfs. So it was a nice game for Accra of Folk as they beat dwarfs by 3 goals to 2. Hearts 3, dwarfs 2. And there's a picture of some Accra House of Folk players here, obviously celebrating a goal. So I can count about 5 of them there. So yes, House of Folk players celebrating one of their goals against Dwarfs yesterday. That's the caption on the photo. And young Scorpions determined to sting satellites. Young Scorpions determined to sting satellites. This is very dangerous. So the under 20, they won their first match by beating Tanzania by 4 goals to 0. Then they drew against Morocco 0-0. That's their 3rd game up next. Let's hope and pray that everything will go very well for them. See the story on the middle page of the Daily Graphic. Invest in digital economy to maximize benefits. Invest in digital economy to maximize benefits. IMF, International Monetary Fund, saying this one. Pages 24 and 25 has this one. Cocoa to begin payment of LBCs this week. Cocoa to begin payment of LBCs this week. Good news for our cocoa farmers. It's going to rain cash this week.
LBCs.
So, you know any cocoa farmer, like if they pay, the cocoa pays the local buying companies and all that, then they also will be paying the local farmers. Right. So
I guess so.
It will go down, it will descend, and the farmers will benefit very much from this one. So if you know any cocoa farmer, you start getting close to them. You might get something good from there. So that will do it for the Daily Graphic.
All right. So my friends, cocoa farmers in I'll see you after the show. Anyways, let's move on to the new crusading guide. It says here that State Housing MD supports alma mater. I see the story on page 10. State Housing Managing Director supports his alma mater or alma mater, as the Santa Clausians would love to call it. And the managing director of State Housing Company, Kwabna Ampo for Apia, and Mr. Kenneth J., Deputy Minister of Defense under the ex-John Mahama administration, has donated some PPEs to the alma mater in Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital. The 2 top politicians who belong to the ruling New Patriotic Party and the opposing National Democratic Congress completed the Martyrs of Uganda Preparatory School in 1989, and that is wise to give back to their alma mater as part of their cooperative responsibilities. So, interestingly, same school produces 2 top parliamentarians from both leading parties in the country, and they have decided to collaboratively or collectively contribute, donate to the alma mater, the Martyrs of Uganda Preparatory School in Kumasi. Anyways, now the big story here, on pages 3 and 10, NDP exposes NDC's diabolic plans on agenda against the Electoral Commission and the Supreme Court. Now, another story here. Robert Kutin Jr., best for national chairmanship post. Delegates declare support. Now, NLA shuts down illegal short code of Alpha Lotto Limited. So, those of you who were patronizing Alpha Lotto Limited, in case you try to make your stakes and they don't go through, well, just know that NLA has shut down the short code because, say, it is illegal. And for those who are also operating other forms of a lottery, please be sure to register with the NLA and get your approved licenses, especially to those who like staking a lotto as well. Please be sure that those institutions that you stake with have been properly licensed and registered. Now, the Bank of Ghana decision to formalize crowdfunding welcoming, says John Kumar. Another story here. Time up for John Mahama, Ofosu Ampofo, and others as the NDC needs new faces to lead the party. And that's it on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Now let's look at the penultimate page. It has sports. They call it the Sports Crusade. Transfer news and rumors. Transfer news and rumors. I remember when I used to do this on the evening news here on Adoatv, speaking on some transfer news and rumors, as well as some other fixtures and things. Charlie, I miss doing sports news. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyway, Manchester United planning to sell De Gea or Henderson. Elsewhere, Baba Rahman scores on PAOK debut in Greek top flight. And that's it for the New Crusading Guide. Let me quickly copy Francis's style and take us through the center spread. It says here, Security Council locks down whole Central Mosque. Avoid malaria in pregnancy, midwife says to Guineans. And speaking about midwives, it's interesting how midwives like to be addressed as midwives, unlike nurses that we like to address them. So when you look at the Nurses Council, they have the Nurses and Midwifery Council. There is that clear cut in between. I don't know what the strike is.
Midwives are nurses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anyways. ADB Managing Director is the most visible banking sector CEO. 2020 IBNA report indicates that is the Institute of Brands Narrative Analysis, IBNA report says that ADB Managing Director is the most visible banking sector CEO. COVID-19 vaccines effective and safe, says the government, and we are bound to expect the vaccines reaching us very soon. COVID-19 triggered from Ghana. Kobe Agri. The COVID-19 triggered from Ghana. This is a write-up by Kobe Agri. And that's it for the New Crusading Guide.
Okay, so from the New Crusading Guide, let's go to the Daily Guide. And we've become bread basket. It is coming from the Minister nominee for the Food and Agri Ministry, Dr. Owusu Efriye Akoto. We've become bread baskets. So check it. Ghana is doing well when it comes to the food and agri sector. NDP exposes NDC demo. NDP exposes NDC demo. See page 3 for details of that. NCA NLA crack whip on Alpha. So the National Communications Authority and the National Lottery Authority crack whip on Alpha. See page 6 for details of that one. Ghana becomes breadbasket. Also details of that story on page 6. Now the big one on the front page of the Daily Graphic. John versus Jane. Fresh motion filed. John versus Jane. Fresh motion filed. So the story actually begins here on the front page and continues on page 3. Then FDA CAS. Okay, so Food and Drugs Authority, then Konfanochi Teaching Hospital endorse herbal medicine. Some endorsements on a particular herbal medicine here in Ghana in relation to COVID-19, and I'll get a copy of the daily guide. See page 6 and read details of that one. Let's go to the back page. Hearts will bounce back. Hearts will bounce back. They surely did this weekend. So they beat Dwarfs by 3 goals to 2. Hearts scored 3 goals. So they've actually bounced back. But Richard Olele Kingston, former Black Stars goalkeeper, is saying that Hearts will bounce back. Inter Milan fans breach COVID-19 rules. So when Inter Milan and AC Milan are playing, it will be very difficult to have fans adhere to the COVID-19 rules, I tell you. And there was clearly a breach. From the pictures here at the back page of the Daily Guide, you can see thousands of people massing up. Nothing close to social distance or anything like that. They are just there. And okay, so some results from the Ghana Premier League here. Ashanti Gold 4, Adriana 0. Ashanti Gold actually scored 4 goals, and Adriana couldn't do anything about it. And Hearts of Folk 3, Dwarfs 2, Chelsea 1, Dreams 0. Kotoko couldn't play this weekend because we traveled. We went to play in Algeria, and the results of that one there, the Daily Guide didn't capture. So I can't see. And there's a table of the English Premier League, the Italian Serie A, Spanish La Liga, and all that. Get the copy and read. But entertainment, I am moving to Ghana. Steve Wonder is saying. Steve Wonder, popular American singer, is saying that he is moving to Ghana to stay permanently, probably until God calls him to heaven. He's coming to stay in Ghana. Steve Wonder. He's very much welcome. So get a copy and read details of that one. That is it for the Daily Guide.
Well, wouldn't it be a wonder to have Stevie Wonder staying in the country? Wonder. Anyways, now the Daily Statesman says that KNUST lecturer urges LDC to give Mahama and Ofosu Ampo for debuts. The story is on page 3 of the Daily Statesman. Now on page 6, it says again, NLA shuts down Alpha Lotto Limited's star 896 hash short code. Star 896 hash short code. And so like I indicated, those of you who are very familiar with this short code, it's quite unfortunate. NPP debunks NDC election petition lies, says the spokespersons not inciting judges against petitioners' lawyers. The story is on page 2. The big one here, 20 million people targeted in Ghana's COVID-19 vaccination program. The story is on page 2 of the Daily Statesman, and it says that some 20 million Ghanaians have been targeted for the COVID-19 vaccination program, which will be rolled out between March and October this year. Now, the vaccination, which would be given to the entire population, will be done in three segments, in which the Greater Accra, Ashanti, and Western regions will receive priority because of the prevalence of the infection in these areas. And so it says that currently there are 80 vaccine candidates with 212 undergoing 212 clinical trials, whilst 11 have been approved. Now, out of this, some 4 have been rejected as well after tests were conducted. So it is not as if it is a straight jacket thing, say, a rubber stamp kind of testing they're doing over there. When it does not meet requirements or it is not found to be potent enough, they are rejected, and by far 4 of these vaccines have been rejected. Thankfully, Ghana is bound to carry out its vaccination program between March this year and October this year. Now let's move on to the back page of the same. Novak Djokovic wins 9th Australian Open by beating Daniil Medvedev. Okay. Mohamed Salisu impresses on first EPL start as Southampton hold Chelsea. That's a sum for the Daily Statesman. But let me not go without doing the center spread stories here. IFAD urges the government and others to rethink the nature of food systems. Coffee farmers want sector to be properly industrialized. And elsewhere, okay, so this is about Consumer Watch and some adverts. So I guess that's a sum for the headlines in the Daily Statesman. If you grab a copy for yourself, there are other interesting stories in there.
Okay, so NCCE to sensitize public to COVID-19 vaccines. I'm reading from the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Ghanaian Times, your most authoritative newspaper. NCCE to sensitize public to COVID-19 vaccines. Page 24 has details of that. And Supreme Court's ruling can't be determined by anyone else. Supreme Court's ruling can't be determined by anyone else. Justice William Atukuba, it's saying, page 15 has details. 5 arrested in connection with young Dakpeili chieftaincy dispute. 5 arrested. Now this one is not a happy news or not a good news. So we thought things were cool. Now somewhere in the northern region, a renewed chieftaincy clash, and over the weekend it wasn't good at all. Some homes were torched or burnt to the ground, burning down properties and foodstuffs and all of this. So, and 5 have been arrested in connection to that. So the police in the northern region, they're actually working. So let's give them credit for that one. And the big story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times: Catholic bishops kick against LGBTQI, urge government not to succumb to pressure. Page 16 has details of that. Most Reverend Philip Name, president of the JCBC, that's the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference, is the president there. So they are kicking against LGBTQI and they are urging government not to succumb to pressure. Get a copy of the Ghanaian Times. Go to page 16 and read more. Let's do sports. At the back page of the Ghanaian Times, satellites seek Gambia's scalp. Satellites seek Gambia's scalp. House of Oaks victory over Dwarfs has been featured here at the front page or the back page of the Ghanaian Times. It's a good win for them, and so it's no wonder that almost all the papers are writing or talking about that one. So 2-goal hero Victor Edu. Okay, Victor Edu actually scored 2 goals from the 3. That's a good one. House bounces back. Sharks fans attack ref. Ashgood crush Adriana. So okay, interesting stuff coming from the Ghana Premier League and how they stand. The table is here now. Karela is on top. 15 matches played, 28 points. If you're looking for your team and their position on the Ghana Premier League log, get a copy of the Ghanaian Times, see the back page, then you will see Karela is on top, first, Ashgold 7th, Asante Kotoko 4 with 2 outstanding matches. Let me see, House of Folk 9th with 1 outstanding match. And then Legon Cities 15th, Asamoah's Legon Cities, after all the headlines and the news that they made and all that. Okay. So get a copy of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Ministers discuss non-member state accession to ECOWAS treaty. Ministers discuss non-member state accession to ECOWAS treaty. That's on page 17 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Media Foundation for West Africa, MFWA, releases a guide on RTI law, the popular almighty right to information law. The MFWA, which is the Media Foundation for West Africa, have released a guide on it. So if you are interested in that, get a copy of the Ghanaian Times, see page 14, then read on that one. Okay, I was looking down there to see if there was a Bible scripture, but it's not the Ghanaian Times that features a quotation here.
Yes, so talking about Bible quotations, then we quickly move on to the Chronicle, the true independent, the spear of the nation, Mkundo Wesizwe. But adding one newspaper, anyways, the NCA shuts down Alpha Loto's illegal code, and NDC needs total overhaul and leadership, KNUST done. Now, MP lauds the Bank of Ghana for prompt response on crowdfunding. NP lauds the Bank of Ghana for prompt response on crowdfunding. Government woos Guineans to vaccinate against COVID-19. Kojopon Nkrumah, the Honorable Minister for Information, Honorable Minister designates for information. Now, the big story here, which is spread across pages 3, 7, and 8 of the Chronicle, speaks about the Catholic Bishops' Conference going gaga. Catholic Bishops' Conference goes gaga. Close down Chumu Chumu office in Ghana now. What is Chumu Chumu? What is Chumu Chumu?
Chumu Chumu.
Yes.
It's that's certainly not an English word.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, Chumu Chumu would it be an akan or okay, it will be
Okay. So my mind comes to it. It would be Chumu Chumu.
Close down
Chumu Chumu.
It's Chumu Chumu.
Close down Chumu Chumu office in Ghana now. This is from the Catholic Bishops' Conference. We have a picture of the Most Reverend Philip Name. He's the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Interesting story here. The story is on pages 3, 7, and 8 of the Chronicle. But I believe that, that's captured in the Ghanaian Times. This is in line with the LGBTQI office and the saga that emanated. And it's interesting how all of this is coming after the vetting of Honorable Adoatv, who is the Minister Designate for Gender and Children's Ministry. Well, she says that should I use this word or the LGBTQI?
It's
not
it is what the
enshrined.
Chronicle featured. See,
Yes.
that is what you have to use.
So that's a local name. That's a local name for LGBTQI.
For LGBT. Well,
Is that the account name? You are an
that's
account, so I'm asking you.
I don't speak for all accounts, but in the context of the wedding on the front page
the
of
Chronicle.
the Chronicle, that would be a term representing LGBT, the Trumu. So in that context, it would be like the Trumu.
Is there a proper
standing
term?
in
Is there a
for
proper term? Is there a
LGBT.
proper term referring these
That's why we
people?
need to consult the Ashanti Consultative Council.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe when we get there, we'll cross that one. Interesting name, anyways. The Chronicle, Everton earned derby win at Anfield after 22 years. That's on the back page of the Chronicle, of course, with some sports. Osaka beats Bradley in straight sets. Osaka beats Bradley in straight sets. Djokovic dominates this name again, Medvedev. To win. So Djokovic dominates the other guy to win. Now, Atletico in surprise home defeat to Levante. And also Southampton draw against Chelsea to end 6 successive defeats. Real Madrid win at Valladolid to close gap. And so that's it for sports on the back page of the Chronicle. Let's take a peep at the center spread. Okay, so the center spread and the whole thing spread here. That Trumu story is widely spread in the center spread of the Chronicle. Okay, so, yes, perhaps we need some understanding. So this is it here. Close down Trumu office in Ghana now. The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has called on the government to immediately close down the LGBTQI office space that was recently opened in Accra. Now, in a statement issued and signed by Most Reverend Philip Name, the president of the GCBC over the weekend, the bishops also urged the executive and the legislature never to be cowed down or to succumb to the pressure to legalize the rights of LGBTQI in Ghana. Now, in view of the importance of this message, we have decided to reproduce the entire statement unedited. And so the entire statement is what the Chronicle newspaper has captured this morning, and it's quite a lengthy one. So if you will grab a copy of the daily, the Chronicle, and perhaps go through as we go through, because we'll be making some calls to a few persons, and the name is rightfully stated here. We have name of lawyer Moses for Amwening. He has been speaking about this LGBTQI dispassionately, and we'll try and get him on the line to further delve into this LGBTQI, or if you will have it, the Chumu case or situation in the country. Now, the Bible quotation from the Chronicle today is taken from Leviticus chapter 18, verses 22. Leviticus 18:22. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. So, Francis, let's hold on to this very quotation. Leviticus chapter 18, verses 22. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. What does the Bible say about women who lie with women as with a man? Well, we'll get there when we cross the river when we get there. That's it for the newspaper headlines. And let's just say you're watching AM Ghana here. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. And today we are picking on a few selected topics. We're speaking on the Supreme Court hearings by far. The petitioner last week argued out its stance and as to why the case should be reopened by the Supreme Court, ruled against that. Now, in furtherance of their petition, the petitioners have also recently, this morning, as captured in the papers, filed for a review of that very verdict. We'll take you through some of the happenings in the Supreme Court as of last week. And when we sitting begins today or resumes today, we will take you back there to perhaps ascertain for yourselves how things go. We'll be speaking to some legal practitioners as well, to give us some details and open our eyes to what to expect. Our court correspondent Albert Ego Elikblim would also be with us later on the show via a phone call to tell us or to share with us the aura and the euphoria at the Supreme Court. It is very interesting to get to know that, and I'm loving Ego's deserts this morning. It seems ready and well poised for his work.
I was just about to say that. I mean, I don't know. It looks like now he has a sponsor now, someone who sponsors his.
Oh, I see.
Because he's living big.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should be going with him to the Supreme Court. I don't know if he gets some, no curfew.
No. They don't do no curfew at the Supreme. No. Nobody does that at the Supreme Court. Albert is a very hardworking reporter, so I think that his hard work is paying, and so this is motivation for you this morning. I wish you had seen Albert. If you want to look as good as him, perhaps you should work hard. You would want to work hard, and so aside the Supreme Court, we will also be speaking on this very issue that has emanated. It has made waves and it is continuously making waves in the country. What is your stance this morning? Do you think that as the LGBTQI persons are arguing out and even quoting from the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, their rights should be upheld? Now, the leader says that their plea or their call should be seen from a human rights perspective. Now, when you go into the chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution, it clearly states out the fundamental human rights and freedoms of all Ghanaians. They quote some specific chapters or articles from the Constitution. We'll be taking you through and find out whether indeed they have a say in the country. What does the Constitution say about LGBTQI persons? What does the Bible say? What does your faith tell you about LGBTQI? Well, you can share your thoughts with us this morning, and if time permits us, we'll perhaps open the phone line so that you can also share. But Facebook is free for now, and so you can go there and share your thoughts and your comments with us on the select topics that we would be speaking on this morning. you are invited to join us here on AM Ghana, Francis.
Yes, I was trying to see if I can mention the name that is giving you troubles. Novak Djokovic and the other one. Okay, let me get the chronicle.
Well, we have crossed that river. You
want
to remind me of my woes? Take.
I just want to see
do justice there. Where your hand is.
This one is simple.
What's the name?
Djokovic.
I mentioned Djokovic.
Oh, you mentioned that one.
Yes.
Okay, so Djokovic dominates. This is where you are finding troubles. MEDVED.
If it's for the spelling, yeah, then we can all spell.
So you break it into syllables.
Okay. Okay.
MED is what?
Med.
VED
Ved.
is vet. Then EV is
F.
F. So Djokovic dominates Medvedev. Okay, so we go for break.
I thought it was coming to do magic only to. Anyways,
like Medvedev.
Interesting. So we have a few comments from Facebook already. Francis, let me quickly take this one. Okay, so this one is actually from a very good friend of somebody you made comments on. He says that do not allude to some tummies as your what is it? As this is not on Facebook. This is coming directly into WhatsApp. As your the word is not there, it's not clear. Would be shadowed soon. So I don't know what's the word is, but I think that it means that you're dismissal. So in case you didn't know, there is a template already there. Don't make that mistake again.
Today, I am bad from mentioning anything that sounds close to
something.
Tommy or belly or stomach.
you are not bad, but
I'm bad myself.
You are okay. Perhaps you are bad. Anyways, you're watching AM Ghana here. It's a Monday morning. We are trying to be as bubbly as possible. I know how difficult it is for you to wake up on a Monday, but if you join us here on AM Ghana on Adoatv television, we will try as much as possible to make your day lively and to give you that zeal that you need for a Monday. And that is how your week begins. So my brother, my sister, if it doesn't begin well for you, then it would rather be unfortunate. You can also share how your weekend went and what your expectations are this morning and for this week with us on Facebook. Adoatv Ghana is the handle. We'll be right back after the break with some more details and some interesting conversations. Stay tuned.
Malaria near would you be privy? Hey, Jackson mix and near ocean one what you are. No, I'm young red. Wapas, chicken one. Jackson Mr. So and Vanya grow. When you know that I want to malaria and quadia, no me yakse mixer. Now bet yes, kinky.
They won't any more about my Jackson Herbal Mixture only size.
Do you know that we have phenomenal influence on our various regulatory bodies? How many of these regulatory bodies do you know within the country? Are you aware you can lodge your complaints if and when you are not satisfied with a product or service? How often do you ask the relevant questions? Whom do you call when things are not rightly done? Connect with me on Regulators on Adoatv as we deliberate on the purpose of these regulatory institutions, their functions, accomplishments, and shortcomings. We ask the back-breaking questions and get the unpolished truth. Be a part of our conversations.
John, wo fi ni wow, Adoatv, edi wabwejuma. I check roofing na, oye fe wankasa from Adoatv. Oh, na same roofing sheets aba bebre nice keke. Why na catch you? Adoatv roofing sheet dey, enye nice keke o. With the board so eche yie, enwe na che. Na won colors ahodo fe bebre. No mo free roofing sheet no dey. Who hear that we bia o. Na so the board so a ejire so pampe. Utumi so kire mo se ne ope roofing sheet no. We try the sama pepepe. Mamopo Adoatv money there. One my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers so want your on-site installation. Ne boss kra da pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da family. Adoatv 5 days pay na mo sa kan order. Na wo year after sales service proper bin so. Hwehwe Adoatv Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, Ebenkoko Board Warehouse, Western Region so Adoatv Watakrade Anaji, Yene Princeland Hotel and di hwenimu. And a Volta Region yewo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha.
Go, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it and wash your hands with soap and running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868. Or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092 57754 020-9494-258 or visit our marketing desk at Step Work Promises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Numun super na wanya pomuden. Se wo ba numun so a, hwe hu ni se eye Migo purified mineral water. Eye nso a yetu ni baby pa. Asaso ni so se kroje. Se wonya Migo purified mineral water bogu ubu a, wo see you manumun super. Migo mineral water de edanso. Esan say the modern technology so na ye. Ede na nkabia ni atri. Migo purified mineral water. Bacteria na mhen wa berem. Eye very hygienic. Obia di wadanse. Migo mineral water neatly packaged with 500 ml bottles mu. Na wani boswa na ukon donsio. Ubenya Migo purified mineral water to bebia. To phone call Dodo wa Amount Frotipa Junction. Ana fre 050-7055-409. Ana 055-392-1088. Migo purified mineral water. Akona kono.
And that's what you're saying. You're just saying, Mr. Moon and the soup.
Ya brand malaria near would you be privy? Ah, hey, that's in mix and near ocean one what you are. No, I'm young red. Wapas, chicken one. That's in Mr. That's in Mr. That's in Mr. So and Vanya grow. I want to
malaria and quadia, no me yakse mixer. Now bet yes, king.
They won't any more about a fur food, or power marble flower for. About flower when you feel me and no murdering. Jackson Herbal Mr. Only size.
Do you know that we have phenomenal influence on our various regulatory bodies? How many of these regulatory bodies do you know within the country? Are you aware you can lodge your complaints if and when you are not satisfied with a product or service? How often do you ask the relevant questions? Whom do you call when things are not rightly done? Connect with me on Regulators on Adoatv as we deliberate on the purpose of these regulatory institutions, their functions, accomplishments, and shortcomings. We ask the back-breaking questions and get the unpolished truth. Be a part of our conversations.
John, what's your
Welcome back. AM Ghana on Adwa Television, and I'm here with Reginald Ade, the Shakespeare of our time. And we've already mentioned some issues that we'll be looking at today. The Supreme Court in the election petition, and then Parliament, the vetting process and all that. Then we'll also be looking at the LGBT issue and matters arising. So on that, on the LGBT issue, we'll be looking to speak to Moses for Amweni, lawyer Moses for Amweni, and then also very shortly we'll be speaking to lawyer Safo Duku. So he would be giving us more insight as to the proceedings of the Supreme Court, especially today's agenda or today's business and all that. So it's a packed show. There's a lot that we are going to be offering for you, AM Ghana, today, Monday, 22nd February. So lawyer Safoduku is already on the line, and let's engage him and see what this means to the election petition process, the timeline and all that, this fresh application that is going to be heard today. Lawyer, good morning. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, lawyer.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, good morning. How are you doing?
By His grace, it is well.
Okay, we are grateful to the Lord. We are doing fine ourselves. Lawyer, we understand that the Supreme Court will be sitting today. What exactly would they be doing, or would they be discussing today?
Well, thank you very much. We are all aware that there is a pending motion or application by the petitioner and his lawyers for a review. That is to say, for the Supreme Court to take a second look at their decision not to allow the petitioners to reopen their case and to subpoena the EC chair to testify. So that is the motion that is before the court today.
Okay, but in that regard, people are saying that the main reason why the petitioner wants to reopen his case is so he could serve a subpoena on the Electoral Commission chairperson, Madam J. Mensah, and that the Supreme Court has already declared that she has opted not to be in the box, and we can't compel her. So an earlier verdict and a review application came, and that particular review application was also dismissed. And so now that they are seeking to have a review on the verdict of the Supreme Court to reopen their case and all that, if that is granted, then it means they are going to subpoena the Electoral Commission chairperson, which has already been denied twice. And so doesn't that one, the fact that the subpoena they intend to serve on the Electoral Commission having been dismissed or denied twice, doesn't it make this review for the reopening of the case somewhat going back in circles, as the words are on the street?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, it is within the rights of the petitioner and his lawyers to seek for a review before the Supreme Court. That is the procedure. So it is their legal right. And then secondly, the Supreme Court has the power to reverse their own decision. And then thirdly, there's always an end to litigation, as lawyers will say. So after this review, I think that in that regard, that may be the end of the opportunity for the petitioners to file any other application in respect of the reopening of their case and then the subpoena issue. So let's wait and see how it goes.
All right, lawyer, help us understand this one better. Comparing this one to the 2013 election petition, we know that the chairperson for the commission then, which was Dr. Kojo Aferijan, he was in the box to be questioned or cross-examined. And now in this case, the chairperson, which is Madam Jane Mensah, is saying she will not enter the box, and the court has also held it that she cannot be compelled if she so says that she cannot. But from her point, what are her reasons why she is saying she will not enter the box, even though she has already filed her witness statement and all that?
Well, first of all, for now, because the Supreme Court has decided, and we take it that is the law, that a party may decide not to testify, even though he or she has filed his or her witness statement. Now, the second point is that in their affidavit in opposition to the petitioner's application to compel her to testify, the EC chair and her lawyers indicated that the evidence adduced so far by the petitioner and his witnesses is enough for the Supreme Court to determine the matter. So to them, there's no need for them to even reopen their case, because the evidence given by the petitioner and his witnesses, to them they feel that it is enough for the Supreme Court to determine the matter. And it is within their rights, of course, what the Supreme Court has decided.
Okay.
But as for any other reasons, we wouldn't be able to know unless the EC board themselves tells us. But what I'm speaking is based on what they stated in their affidavit in opposition to the petitioner's application to compel her to testify, and then what the judges have decided. But if there are other reasons, I think she will be the best person to tell us.
All right, then. Let me ask you this one also, lawyer. What stage are we now with regards to getting the final verdict of this election petition? What stage are we, having had the parties or the relevant parties file their closing remarks and all that, and today they are sitting to hear the application for a review and all that? How close are we to the end?
Yes, before the petitioners filed this particular application and the seal of proceedings, the Supreme Court had ordered the parties to file their respective written addresses. That is to put down their legal arguments. And then I think that was supposed to be on the 17th.
Yeah.
And then the next day were going to give them a chance to give their oral submissions to highlight the key points in their addresses. But with this new development, we will have to wait for the outcome of this particular application, and then we will know then the next step. Otherwise, the matter was almost cruising to its end, because once the parties file their addresses and argue, then the Supreme Court will set a date for judgment. But that will depend on what the outcome will be for in respect of the motion set for today.
All right, lawyer, we understand a member for the Council of the Petitioner, Dr. Dominic Hayede, has been charged with contempt of court. But educate us on that. What exactly is that, contempt of court? What does that mean?
No, is that official? Has it been served?
Well, that's the rumor.
Well, but we can't rely on rumor. But
okay, but generally,
contempt
yes,
very simple. That you are asked or a statement or whatever you have done has brought the name, the reputation, and the dignity of a court of competent jurisdiction into disrepute. And therefore, you come and justify why you should not be punished. If you are convicted, that is, if you are found guilty, the consequences are there. It may be a fine, an imprisonment term, or both. So contempt simply means that somebody's act or action or statement has brought or has ridiculed the integrity or the image of the Supreme Court, and therefore the court needs to protect the sanctity of that high office.
Okay. All right. Lawyer, thank you very much for your time with us this morning. We will get back to you in the course of the hearing and even after, if there is anything that we need some education or some enlightenment on. We'll get back to you then.
All right. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lawyer Safo Duku, a media, he's a legal practitioner that we just spoke to there. And so that's it. The Supreme Court will be hearing the application for review from the petitioners. And so asking the Supreme Court or the judges to have a second look of their decision not to allow them reopen their case. And that's what I wanted to find out, because generally they want to reopen their case to subpoena the electoral commissioner to come into the witness box. And that one had already been stated twice in the court that she said she won't come, she can't be forced. And so still pursuing the reopening of the case would mean still pursuing Jane Mensah to enter the box. But as lawyer explained to us, it is within their right to do that. And the judges could or might change their mind, who knows. And so they are only following legal procedure and all that. That was what I heard some people discuss, that they think it is more like going around in circles. So this one that has already been judged that it cannot happen, then finding other means to bring the same thing back and all that. But as lawyer said, it's still within their right and all that. So that's basically what he said about it and what is going to happen at the Supreme Court today. Your take on that one?
Well, I think that the utilization of the law rests in the hands of he who understands the law. So sometimes I will say that the law will go against somebody and the law will go in favor of someone. Now, you know that in the law court, it is basically all about arguing your facts out. And I'm mentioning the particular word, facts, not hearsay, not assumptions, not, baseless arguments. And so if you ask me, I think that the counsel for the petitioner, a lawyer, Chachu Chikata, seems to know what he is doing. I think he is using every necessary or perhaps every available avenue that he could use, in defending or in speaking for the petitioner to get Madame Jane Mensah to,
enter the witness box to
exactly to adduce further evidence. Now, and as we say that the proof of
burden of proof
rests with the petitioner, and so if the burden of proof rests with the petitioner, then perhaps he feels, or perhaps the petitioner feels that he's burdened enough to bring in Madame Jane Mensah, who would help alleviate that burden of proof, or who would help substantiate that proof, or perhaps that establishing that evidence that perhaps their claims hold some substance. And then, like a lawyer said, that I think that the law, rests in the bosom of the judges, and in as much as there are several, the counsel for the defendants have, come out with very good arguments as to why Madame Jane Mensah cannot be brought into the witness box to testify. I think that the saying goes, the law rests in the bosom of the judges. So can they also perhaps look into it and see if it will be necessary to grant the petitioner that ease of access for a review of that last week's
verdicts by the Supreme Court.
By the Supreme Court. However, again, I think that it is quite too short a moment to call for a review of a decision that has been made by the judges of the Supreme Court. Now, when you look at the substance behind the verdicts, you realize that almost all the verdicts, that is, if I'm not mistaken, all the verdicts that have come from the Supreme Court, as far as election 2020 petition is concerned, is unanimous, which means that all the judges have a common voice. And you see, this is the nature of the entire bout between the petitioner and the respondents. In some instances, the verdict from the Supreme Court seems to go in favor of the petitioner. In some instances, it seems to go in favor of the respondents. And so when I sit down and I hear or listen to people, in fact, I don't really pay attention to these things, but it's just important that you hear them.
You know what's going on out there.
You know what's going on out there. When they say that the Supreme Court is going in favor of one particular, and so you speak about contempt of court. And I think people need to understand these things. When people sit down and say that the Supreme Court is doing the bit of a particular, side of the case, I ask them, do you really follow the Supreme Court proceedings? Because if you follow very well, if you don't take your time, if you're a person who is I'm trying not to use an offensive, if you're a person who looks at things from one angle, only one angle, you perhaps may think that the Supreme Court is perhaps going in favor of one party in the case, but that is not entirely the case. I believe that the Supreme Court is working around the rigors of the law, and let's also bear in mind that there is a time frame that has been scheduled for this election petition hearing. And so if the Supreme Court will even decide to add some more days or perhaps go beyond the threshold of the defined set of days for the hearing, I don't think that it will be too much of some added days. However, this may also pose a challenge to most of the pleas or the applications by the petitioner, considering that we are working within a time frame. We'll be speaking to lawyer John Agbute to throw more light on this very hearing for us, because it seems that the compelling or the will to compel Madame Jean Mensah to testify in the witness box is very crucial and important for the petitioner. But I wonder how crucial this is for the petitioner, because we've all come to the realization that if your case is that good, if you've made your case and you say you've closed your case, and it goes in line that your respondents also say that they are also calling for a closure of the case, then perhaps you should, rejoice to some extent that, hey, I've cornered them, they can't bring further witnesses. But then I think that the petitioners want to make what we would say a solid case, and I think that in making the case a solid for them, they need some ingredients, and one of those ingredients would be having Madame Jean Mensah in the witness box. So let's see if the court will grant that review. I don't know if a review is to be done whilst the hearing is actually going on, or perhaps when the entire case is done with, then perhaps there could be a review. These are some of the questions that I want to find out from lawyer John Agbute. So I would ask that as and when we get him on the line. It's interesting how this has turned out so far. I think in 2013, I didn't follow quite religiously the entire proceedings, especially considering that it took so many months. At a point you would have gotten exhausted. I think that with this one, at least we are able to follow, even if you're in your office, you're able to listen on radio, amongst other things, thanks to the national broadcasting station that makes sure that we all get access to this very hearing. It's an eye-opener for us, and even if you do not learn about election petition, you learn one or two things from the courts, and at least it broadens your mind or enlightens
at
you
least now
about
we know
some
about
laws.
burden of proof.
Yes.
We know about subpoena, because
before
this I've never heard.
You've never heard subpoena?
I didn't even think it was an English word.
Okay. It is. They use it most often in the American, American courts.
So now I know subpoena, I know burden of proof, and a couple some other legal terms that.
I think that, and you see, this is where the saying that comes that ignorance of the law is no excuse. I mean, you don't go there and say that because I didn't know this. I mean, the law is there. One thing that the court of public opinion has come out with, is the difference. Thank God the word came quickly. Difference. I was going to say dichotomy, but I know somebody somewhere, my good friend and my boss, has warned me that the thing is too much.
big grammar.
Well, so I think that as the court of public opinion has it, that there should be a difference, or the court of public opinion seems to want to be striking a difference between the law and common sense. And I find out from a lawyer John would say that at which point in the law or in the jurisdiction of the law does common sense come to play. I'm speaking about common sense in the sense that people are saying that, hey, this is the person who is the returning officer for the presidential elections. She made some few errors. How were those errors rectified? These are the questions that the petitioners really want to find out from the chairperson for the Electoral Commission and the returning officer for the presidential election. How were these mistakes rectified? And at which point were they realized? Was it realized that there were some errors in the entire tabulation of the results? So I've come out with the figures that they came out with, and the court of public opinion is indicating that, I mean, it is simple. They're saying it's simple logic that the same person who came out to correct the mistakes, it's a responsibility to Ghanaians to come out and explain. But then again, the spokespersons for the council for the respondents have also indicated that, hey, this is a court of law. This is not where if in case indeed the petitioners want to elicit that information from the chairperson or the first respondent.
She is actually the witness for the first respondent, which is the Electoral Commission.
Exactly.
The first respondent is the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
And Madam Jemensa is the
chairperson, and then also the witness.
In this case, the witness for the first respondent.
And so the spokespersons are saying that if the petitioners so want to elicit this very information from the chairperson of the EC, then perhaps they would have to go through another process in order to get that. But I think that all of these allegations, amongst other things, as the court of public opinion is putting it, all of these allegations, amongst other things, is as a result of the mixed figures that were later on rectified before the declaration of the presidential results was made. And so the person who came out to do the declaration should perhaps just, but hey, all of this wisdom, and they say that the wheels of justice grinds slowly. All of this wisdom, all of this law rests in the bosom of the Supreme Court judges. They are custodians of the law, and we are hoping that their word would be their word. They have the power, like a lawyer said, they can't decide to review what they have already said or what they have already pronounced. They have that right. They can also decide to go by what they have already pronounced. And so let's see how it goes today for the petitioners. I don't know if lawyer John Agbote is ready in the meantime. If not,
he's not. But so that's it. All we can do is sit back in our chairs and stick to Adoatv, because we are showing, we are bringing you live pictures from the Supreme Court. And even before the sitting starts proper, we have our correspondent Albert Eleplem Ego, who is there to bring us the atmosphere and describe how things are going for us, who is coming in at what time and all that. So you don't miss anything so long as you are watching Adoatv. And we'll be talking about LGBT and all that. This one is trending. We've heard about some minister nominees were questioned on this one, including the former minister for procurement, Honorable Sarah Joseph, who is now the minister nominee for gender and social protection and all that. They were questioned. The information minister nominee was also questioned and all that. And the executive secretary for the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values, Lawyer Moses Fo Amwani, is vehemently against this. And if he had his way, then wherever this purported office is for the LGBT group would be closed down and, even if possible, perhaps brought to the ground like that. So we'll be speaking to him to see why he's so strongly against such cause and all that, and then also some other relevant information. But before we get Lawyer John Abuti on the line, Ghana is expected to receive our first batch of COVID-19 vaccines today.
I see.
And I don't know, with our fight so far in our bid to win over this virus and all that, and now that the first batch of the vaccines are coming in, what would that mean for our course in fighting against COVID-19, what we have achieved so far, and now that the vaccines are coming in? What would that mean for us?
Well, I think that, you know, a vaccine is a vaccine. And a vaccine is to help you develop those...
I was about to say antibodies. Are there antibodies?
Develop or to put your body's mechanism to fight COVID-19 in real force. So, for me, I think that it is good news. And if journalists were put in, you know, the list of those to take the first shots, I would have submitted myself to it and perhaps taken it publicly. Yeah, if possible, on Advert Television, just to, you know, help sensitize the public. Yesterday, I was watching a reportage on a sister station where, I mean, the reporters were there to cover a different story about education. But once the indigents saw them, they started running. They started booting. They took to their heels. And later on, I was found out that they were running because they have been alerted that people will be coming into the town to vaccinate them against COVID-19. And so you can tell the mindset that has been formed around these vaccines. It is quite unfortunate that this is where we have gotten to. But I think that, you see, when COVID-19 came, the education about COVID-19 was done in several languages, all right, for everybody to be able to understand that this is exactly what is going on. And so for me, I think that the education about the vaccines, the sensitization of the public has not gotten that far. It has not gotten to the last bit of individual. But let's also bear in mind that this is not the first time that Ghanaians, you know, have exhibited or portrayed such attitude towards vaccines. It was same for polio. When polio vaccines came, people also stigmatized against the vaccines. They said that it was going to make you even more crippled. It was going to make your bones weak. A whole lot of theories were formed around it. But with gradual information and education, people came to accept. So why are we not doing the same for COVID-19 vaccines? So this is where I charge the NCCE, the National Commission for Civic Education, to indeed play their role. We've heard over and over the under-resourcement of the NCCE.
Well, sorry to cut you, but on that score, page 24 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Okay. So the headline, NCCE to sensitize public to COVID-19 vaccines.
So that would indeed
page 24.
Be a good call. Let's quickly see what they are going to do.
The National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, has given indication to embark on an intense public sensitization about Ghana's COVID-19 vaccination strategy. The country is expected to take delivery of some doses of AstraZeneca vaccines to immune sections of the population against the coronavirus by March this year. So is that a call rather too late for the NCC now to begin sensitization, even as the vaccines have already almost about to enter the country? Like, do you think this is something they should have done long ago, along with the education on COVID-19, the prevention and all that?
Well, I don't think that the time is ever too short. I mean, how many media outlets do we have in the country?
Because you speak to some people on the street and it's like their minds are already made. They've watched what they could see on social media already. They've been informed by social media, and that is the basis for their decision to take or not to take. And so if the earlier sensitization, if this purported sensitization has started earlier, then it would have come before this social media, these things would have come. And so it would have given the ordinary Ghanaian two points of views to look at what the NCC is saying and what they are seeing on social media. But as it is now, it has only been the social media that has provided such infos about the vaccine, and whatever they had to say about it has gotten into the minds.
Unfortunately, social media is not painting a positive image of the vaccine. I have seen, I mean, way from last year, December, where the vaccines, became the issue. Countries were reported to have had first shots of the vaccines, amongst other things. On social media, it started from TikTok, where there is this generic, I don't know how they call them, but there was a generic sound where people would be mimicking reactions or, feigning reactions of having taken the COVID-19 shots. They be shaking their limbs as though there was something controlling those limbs. There was an external factor or external force controlling those limbs, and it is quite unfortunate that the communications ministry does not have a control of social media, does not have a regulation on social media. And so such information just fly about. And so that information also stayed on for a very long time, until recently that the news about the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines, was also put out to the public. Now, following the announcement of the procurement, what level of education has been done? If we did not counter that foil information, then, I mean, how do we expect to go beyond that after the announcement of the procurement of the vaccines has been made? And so right from there, you come fast forward into current times, you realize that very little or no information at all has been done about sensitization of the citizenry against or they have sensitization on the vaccines. Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, Minister Designate for Information, also indicated that he would publicly take the COVID-19. But I think that we need more education than this. People fear what they don't understand. All right, people do not mingle with things they don't understand, which is why when you want to perhaps go into the midst of people, you have to try and familiarize with them and let them feel that you're a part of them before they accept you and hear the message or the word that you have for them. So this is quite simple. Just inform the people that, hey, just as we have a vaccine for polio, so do we have a vaccine for COVID-19. These are the constituents of the vaccine, and this is how the vaccine works. Now, interestingly, in my little education, I have come to realize that there are at least not less than 4 variations in the vaccines. Now, in order not to confuse the public further, I wouldn't go too deep into it. But there is a vaccine also based on, your own immune system that once it is injected into you, helps your immune system combat the vaccine quickly. All right, and there are several types, and so you will hear the Russia's what's not, the Sputnik what's not,
Sputnik 5.
Exactly, and so there are slight, variations in the names of the vaccines. So this is also causing some level of confusion amongst people in Ghana, and it is making them not want to take the vaccine at all. Besides, the education is not there, the understanding is not there. So I think that what we can do to bridge that gap is just to create that understanding. Let people know what the vaccine is, what it does, and how it would help.
And that's the point.
It is as simple as that. But let's also not forget, and let me hasten to add, that the vaccine is not a cure. And the vaccine is not a substitution also for the preventive protocols. All right. And so let us all, in as much as we are expecting the vaccines, in as much as we are in good faith of receiving the vaccines, let us not let our guards down and think that, oh, we can contract COVID-19 now. By March, the vaccines will be in. The vaccines work even more effectively when you abide by the laid down protocols, wearing your mask, washing your hand under running water and soap, using the hand sanitizers, and indeed, if we will social distance and stay at home when we don't have anything relevant enough to do in town, we would be helping the vaccine to be more efficacious. Now, mind you, COVID-19 doesn't work on its own. It is we human beings that spread COVID-19. Sure. And so if you take your shot and you quietly go and abide by the protocols, you'll be increasing the efficacy of the vaccine to perhaps 150%. Yes, as opposed to just taking it, or just taking it and then allowing yourself to go on and about. So for me, I think that it's a good thing that the vaccines will come into our country. Mind you, we are very fortunate as a country to even be procuring or be receiving these COVID-19 vaccines. Ghana is the 5th African country. And if you ask me how many countries are in Africa, Ghana is the 5th African country to procure or receive the COVID-19 vaccine. So count yourself lucky and let this exercise count. You should be counted because you count. Let this exercise also count. Well, it is very, very important.
It's very important. So let's it count. So let's shift away from the COVID-19 talk now and go back to the LGBTQI matters. Apostle Kusi Apia is a man of God and a counselor. He is on the line. Man of God, shalom.
Oh, praise you.
Okay, so this is the situation that we have now. The calls for the rights for the LGBTQI group are being heightened, and all that in Ghana. Ghana, as many people call it, is a Christian country. So what should we do now, man of God?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me say a very good morning to your church viewers. And over the period of some time now, I've been worried about some of these distractions. The reason being that when you do a little psychology, there's something we call social deception and stages. Social deception is a stage or process by which they push certain things which are wrong into the social domain or the society, and through discussions and other things, it becomes a normal thing. Some 10, 20 years ago, if you mention things like homosexuality, it was like a taboo in people's minds. But gradually, they've gone through these stages, and now it has become a normal discussion. There are some particular worries because we have fallen into those things. We thought maybe really speaking out and those things was going to help. Let me quickly take you to the social discussion. You understand that, normally when you have an issue, for instance, this sexuality, knowing that it's against social norms, every society frowns upon it. All they can do is to start from the first stage, that's the shorter stage, by drawing or dropping something about it through the media. Or maybe, for instance, this office issue, they established their office. The moment they draw that shocking news, they'll move to the next, they call the outrage stage, where people were treated, like they begin to speak about things, make noise about things. Then, as we move through that process, we go to the test they call the discussion. That's where we are now, discussing it, people's views are being shared, and now the thing that was so outrageous in people's minds now begins to now normalize, because people are now hearing opposite views, different views from people, those who are for and those who are there. And normally, those who even engage in this, some of them are even sponsored. Those who are trying to push this agenda, they can even pay people to come and speak against, and others to come and speak for. So sometimes those who you even hear speaking against some of these, areas of the society, this social content, some of them are even being paid. So that to make it a debate, argument. So once we are arguing about it, you see that, look, it becomes normal in people's minds. And then you move to the next thing called the tolerance stage. That's when the youth on the street, the average youth on the street right now, if you mention that, please, what's your take on homosexuality? You will say, well, I don't care. That's somebody's life. So Ghana, as we speak now, we are at the tolerance stage. Because of some of these debates and discussions, they push it, and now we are at the tolerance stage where you pick about 10 people right now, about 10 will tell you it is people's life. I don't care what people do behind closed doors. So now they normalize it. Now, gradually, when we continue with this, tangent, we are now going to move into the acceptance stage where it becomes acceptable in society. And finally, we go to the veneration stage where we have individuals, celebrities coming out to even state that they are part of those institutions or organizations or associations, then to draw more people into it. So from the one, personally, I wish some of us, our voice could have been heard long ago, that we don't even engage in some of this. But now, unfortunately, we are at the current stage. So this I will quickly state on this. According to the Bible, as a pastor, in the book of Romans chapter 1, verse number 32, the Bible speaking says, who knowing the righteous judgment of God, that those who practice such things, and that's things, he has already mentioned them when you read from the verse 13, he has mentioned, including the homosexuality issue. Those who practice such things are deserving of death. Not only do the same, but also approve of those who practice them. Now, all the truth is that it's not only about those who sit down and say, oh, we are part of this. But those of us who sit unconcerned, those of us who think, oh, it is their life, it means we are approving of that behavior. And whatever judgment that goes upon them will come upon us. This is what the Bible is saying. You understand? And there's so many of us don't know. So although we are at the tolerance stage where people feel, well, it's their life, it's not their life. When you sit unconcerned, that's why even in our laws, when you see somebody committing a crime and refuse to report the person, you will be charged for abetment or even refusing to commit a crime. They are all laws that you can use against you. And the same thing applies in the Bible. When we see people doing something which we know is wrong, and we sit down unconcerned, the Bible is saying that it's not only those who are practicing it, but those of us who are approving it by our behavior, our silence, that we are not talking about, we are not speaking against it. Regardless of who you are, whether you are the president, you're a minister, because you are not, me, as for me, they won't do it. Then somebody is doing it, if it is body, I don't care. The Bible says that you will also be punished accordingly. That is why we need to be bold enough to speak against it, regardless of who you are in the society. So I will use this as a platform to call on all society groups. The president become unfortunately now we are at the current stage. Like I said, if you like put your camera, go to the street with your camera, ask people. You will see many people are now unconcerned. Meanwhile, some years back, the moment you mention something like this, it was outrageous. People couldn't even believe that a man and a man will even think of having an affair, or a woman and a woman. It was something that was unacceptable.
Apostle, let's look at it this way. Homosexuality it's not a modern practice. It dates back as far as the times of Sodom and Gomorrah and all. But the times that we are now, things are changing. I mean, some time past, it was held that women were not voting, women were not doing this, women were not doing that, but gradually the rights of women are being respected and they are being involved in all matters, and women are now occupying positions of power and all that. So in this case also, those days, as you've alluded earlier, these acts were frowned upon. But as times are changing and certain rights are being respected and all, isn't it only normal that just as some time ago women were not voting, but now they are. Women's rights were not respected. Now they are being respected. Such groups' rights also, as they were frowned upon some time ago, should also be given a similar respect as you were saying earlier. But, after all, it's their life, and they decide what to do with it.
You see, this is a simple answer that I gave to someone who asked a similar question. There are those who are championing this cause. You go there, you know they marry under ordinance and per their laws. The moment you marry a woman, you don't have the right to marry again, even though you have the right to marry more women. They will make sure you don't do that. Why? Because it's not people trying to marry one or two or three. Why are they not changing that? You see, the truth is they have an agenda. And that agenda is to cause an abomination. So they try to use some of these distractions that, oh, it's their right. Then people right to now marry 3 or 4. So they should, so that's the argument. They should not change that law to say that, okay, then you can marry 1 or 4 because people right to marry more than that. They will never do that. Because they know this as act that most of these, the big men or those in the realm of affairs, because of the occultism and other things, this is something, a requirement. They demand them to sleep with young guys. If you want to go into that area, you understand better. Look, people are forced to do that now. It's very difficult for them to approach this young guy. So they are fighting to make sure it becomes a normal thing. You understand? We Africans, our tradition, don't we marry more than one? But they fight us not to even marry more than one. Why? Because they claim it's wrong. What is wrong is wrong. If you are talking about, now if there's an argument that, oh, people have the tendency or the urge to feel for a man. The same way people have urge to take people's things. It's the same way people have urge to even kill or take people's life. Should we allow these people because they have the urge to do that? No, we shouldn't have any criminal law. We should allow people to do whatever they feel like doing, whether it's wrong or right, because they have the urge. But that's not the case. What is wrong is wrong. That is why even in their laws, they call it unnatural carnal knowledge. They just say, no, this is not nature. This is what was given to us as people. So when they are writing the law books, they will put it on natural carnal knowledge. So that's which is not natural. You understand? So, but coming back to even what you said about the right and those rights. Look, when God created man, he gave us a manual. I'll tell you, look, the Bible is just a manual. The Bible is not anything else. The Bible just is like having a mobile phone, having a manual. It's just telling you what the product is made of, what the use of the product, and things that can destroy the product. The first person who gave us a manual is God. So the Bible is just there to guide us. So, and what does the Bible say about women's rights? God gives women their rights. So if men decided to change it and later realize that, look, all that we were doing was wrong, so we are now moving back to the word of God, that's fine. But now, looking at this issue as we are discussing now, tell me, where can we find in the manual that a man should sleep with a man?
Well, Apostle, from the point of the Bible, this is very clear. And so we know that definitely when we go into the Bible is certainly against this one. But let's look at it socially. Like with LGBT and all that. I was engaging with one person who associates with such group, and the questions he asked me was that, does his action in any way affect the economy of the nation? Does it in any way impede development or growth of the country? If not, why should they be singled out and then have their rights denied and all that? For the side of the Bible, we know. But in our daily lives as Ghanaians, if you should have these people accepted, allowed to do what they feel like or what they want to do with their lives, would it have any impact on the nation or the country, as in economy, health, development, and all that? Would that have any implication on it?
When you go to our laws, there's a law against bestiality, sleeping with animals. If I have my goat in my room and I sleep with that goat, would that affect the economy? Would that affect you sitting in your studio? The truth is...
Apostle, for the goats, perhaps the goats will be killed and sold on the market, and I might go and purchase that meat unknowingly and eat. And so, in some way, I can say it might influence me. It might affect me in a way, for the bestiality part.
All right. So then that's a very good point. Then let's now bring back to your question. Now, any man who now feels that I don't have interest in another woman, but I have interest in my fellow man. Now, watch it. When you look at factors of production in an economy, you have the land, what is the next thing? Labor. The moment you are telling me, okay, my interest now is sleeping with my other man, knowing that a man cannot give birth, then you are going to reduce population now. If you want to look at this from social perspective, you are going to reduce population. And the moment our population reduces, our labor is also going to reduce. So even from that angle, we shouldn't even, support some of these things, knowing how it can affect the economy. Because if all men decide that, look, from today onwards, we are going to now join this group, we are not going to treat our women, how are you going to increase our labor?
Well, Apostle, we have some leaders of some religious groups who do not marry or give birth.
You see, we should also look at it from this context. Some religious leaders who say we are not giving birth. When you read the Bible, it says there are some who are hurt, not from their mother's womb. There are some men who are even born without the egg to use sleep with a woman. That is there. And these are the people that they join somebody because they don't have any egg. And when you have a man, you are a man and you have that egg to sleep with a woman, you don't even go and marry because you put that woman in trouble. You understand? So if somebody decides not to marry, that's a different ballgame. Because as the Bible said, they say there are some enough who are made enough because of the ministry. Some are also born from their mother's womb. And that is just a fashion. But it's a movement. And when I explain the social deception stages, the truth is that most of these youth who look up to some of these celebrities and the rest. Now, there are people when they move it, look, there are many social vices today. There's issue of shisha, smoking of shisha and the rest on the street. And if you know how the youth are on it, you'll be surprised. Because they see the celebrities in their music videos, smoking it. And it entices them into it. You understand? There's a movement. And you don't even have something that can limit it. It's an open, adventure. But when you talk of religious leaders who are not, we're going to marry on those things, but the truth is that how many of us, when you know you have the edge, we really want to go? Some of us didn't join the church organization because I have an edge to sleep with my wife. Therefore, I will not even join. You understand? That one, there's a limit. You have to go through, their schools or whatever to become a priest. But yeah, it's a social venture where they can draw as many people as possible into it. So if you're asking about social, how it affects the economy, then I'll tell you one, it will also limit our labor force in the long run. Because now these people, you see, every act that you engage in, it has a story that follows it. So if you ask those women who engage in some of this, they don't even have that feeling for a man. Likewise, the men too, they don't have any feelings for the women. So it's going to now destroy marriages. And in the long run, you can't even have, give birth and even have the economy. So if you want us to push the discussion from the religious context and look at it from the social context, there is one, I'll just giving one. But even the other thing is this. Now imagine, you see, when you look at our workforce in the offices, it is male-dominated. Now, one thing that we are well aware, and most organizations don't even encourage, they frown on, is for people to have an affair in our offices. Most organizations, they have that strict rules. You cannot be dating women in this and that. Because we know that our relationship status is male and female relationship is frowned upon. Now, when we now agree that men can sleep with men, then see that relationship status is going to change. So we are going to have people going to have affairs because they have LGBT or whatever. Do you understand? So the question is, how are we can we increase productivity in our workplace? Because one of the things that that declines productivity is when you are having an affair, because now your subordinates will not even respect you. So if you want to now go into that side, you will see that most of the things that you have been preventing by speaking against relationship in the offices, now we are going to open the floodgates. That people now cannot even speak with anybody. And so I believe it is at a time that we don't just look at it from that angle that we see somebody right. Like I said, it is also a people's right to marry 3 or 4. It is people's right to steal can come out and say, okay, it is their right, or that's what they want to do. Then we should not, they decriminalize all acts and say, okay, there's no crime. People cannot feel free and do whatever they like. But if you cannot do that, then you shouldn't even start talking about their right and their personal life. Because it's my personal life, my desire to even burn my house. You know the law comes upon it. My own house that I've used my money to build. My own CD notes that I have, I can't burn it. Do you know that?
I do.
That I cannot take my money and set it on fire and go, I don't like this money. I'll be arrested and prosecuted. But it's my money. Why don't I have the right to burn it? So it's not about life. It's about what the society have agreed that, look, when you talk of crime is anything that is set frowned upon. So in our constitution, it is there. If you have any natural and unnatural carnal knowledge with anyone, it's a crime. It is our constitution.
Well,
so
Apostle, this is where we are now. The LGBT group in Ghana now are obviously fighting for their rights now, and just recently
they don't have right. I don't want to. You think the constitution
Apostle, they believe they have. They believe they have. They believe they are entitled to.
Also have their right.
Well, that would be a case for the armed robbers also to argue, but they are arguing their own rights, that they have the rights too.
Prostitutes also have their rights.
Well, so what is the way forward now? Now that it is reported that they have had their office launched and all that, and purportedly some big men, diplomatic persons having their back, attending the fundraising ceremony and all that. What is the way forward for Ghana as a country? How do we remedy the situation?
All those activities are just supported to move us into the distraction. The constitution is clear on some of these things. If you take the view, we want to move out from the Bible issue, the constitution is clear on some of these things. We just need to make sure our representatives, that the parliamentarians, never even think of in a minute to go and legalize this. That's all we can do. Because even as we speak now, there are people who are engaging in it, but we shouldn't give them, or we shouldn't give them that right. So that right is prohibited in the constitution. So under no circumstances, so we need to hold our parliamentarians accountable. That's all. Because now most of these acts are illegal, linking with animals, but we still have people who engage in the fine. Like you said, it has been existence for God knows when. But we need to now hold our parliamentarians accountable that, look, you just go and legalize it. Because that's the only time they can have the legal background. You know, the issue of we came in where we had the Narcotic Control Board, the heads that applied then, even championing we to legalize it. We thought it wasn't necessary. We didn't legalize it. So we need to just hold our MPs accountable to make sure, look, you just go and do this, because then it all comes back to our politics, unfortunately. That if we have stopped voting from this tribal lines where there are people who they know, as soon as I get them know from my party, automatically my people vote for me. We need to also move from there. If not, what I'm saying will not be applicable, because people will still vote, even if, because it's party line, Asante to vote for NPP, Voters to vote for NDC. We need to also move from there. If not, we cannot hold our MPs accountable. That's another issue for distraction media another time. But the ultimate thing is that our MPs need to stand on their ground, because they made the laws.
Apostle, my colleague Reginald Addy is here with me in the studios, and he has some few questions for you as well.
All right.
Apostle, thank you very much for the submissions made so far. Now, in your submission, you've been mentioning unnatural carnal knowledge. Now, to establish the basis, what is natural carnal knowledge, and what is defined as unnatural carnal knowledge?
All right, so natural carnal knowledge, the law is a man using his manhood to penetrate a woman, sexual organs. So there's two sexual organs, male and female, and they coming together. That's a natural carnal knowledge.
Right.
You understand? So any other act is unnatural carnal knowledge.
Very well. So any other act that is not a man inserting his penis into a woman's private part, the vagina, so to say, is unnatural. Now, you agree with me, Rev, that even in sexual intercourse, there is what we call foreplay, where there is the cunnilingus, there is the fellatio, amongst other acts, where the mouth is used in stimulating a partner's private parts. Does this also come to unnatural carnal knowledge?
Yeah, it's part. But it is, as you said, these are things that are done in the bedroom. But when you are caught and somebody reports you, the law can deal with you. You see, there are many acts that happen. For instance, the law is against stealing. Then somebody, your child can steal your money and you refuse to report the person. The law cannot deal with the person because the law says that somebody must report. You understand? So the fact that people are doing such things in their bedroom doesn't mean it's legal. The law frowns upon it. The constitution of this country is frowns upon it. But until somebody goes to report, the law cannot take its part. That's why we should not just say because people are doing it, we should change it to now accommodate them. No.
But Rev, doesn't this mean that for a very long time, like you said, people will be punished per the Bible for not speaking against this, for being silent? Now, some of these things that you mentioned as being done in the bedroom are also part of the unnatural carnal knowledge, and we've been quiet about it.
Well,
most often,
you've been quiet. How would you say you've been quiet? But it depends on maybe where you stand. But most pastors, I know most pastors who preach about some of these things in their churches. You understand? So if maybe perhaps they don't have the platform where I mean they can appeal to large crowds. But I know I can use for an example, and I know other pastors too who explain some of these things. You understand? Because we have some mothers who even will take their children to commit an abortion. And they feel that, well, we are not the one who commits my daughter. But the Bible teaches that any act, if it's not right, if you approve of it, you are as guilty as the person who committed it.
Very well.
That is a fundamental, issue here.
Very well.
Now, and this is a message we need to let the public know.
Reverend, now on the same basis of carnal knowledge or unnatural carnal knowledge comes the group. Now, you know that it is a group, LGBTQI. Now, the L alone stands for lesbians or lesbianism. Now, there is the argument that lesbians or lesbianism does not count as unnatural carnal knowledge because per the definition that you have given of natural carnal knowledge, there is no penetration of a penis whatsoever. A woman does not have a penis to penetrate whatever. And so there is that communication as well, that lesbians do not count and as such cannot be associated or judged as such, and they have their freedom to embark on what they want to embark on because there is no penetration of a penis into a vagina.
From where I sit, it counts because I've had an encounter where you pray to deliver some of these people. When they tell you how they go about it, you'll be surprised. The thing that they insert into their private part, you'll be shocked.
Is that unnatural?
Yes. You don't need to, that's how you define it. It's a penis and a vagina. So any other element that you put in there is wrong. So they end up, they do those all kinds of things that they use when they come before you. And if they themselves know that look, some of them are addicted to it. They need help. So some of them publicly come for prayers. And by the grace of God, we pray for them, some of them. And then today they are free. Some of them were even married. And it was fight against them because they didn't even have any feelings for their husband. You understand? So they go through, God made man or woman. The truth is when the other sexual affairs, you can enter or you can entertain yourself with all kinds of things. But the truth is that feeling will not be appropriate until you meet a man. That's why they end up using all kinds of things, inserting and those things, just to get that kind of feeling. But I don't know, they are not even satisfied. You understand? So they end up using all kinds of things.
All right. So then we come into the case of sects. Sects as in S-E-C-T-S. Sects, groupings. Now, we have the Christian religion that frowns against it, the Islamic religion that frowns against it. They are clear. As you quoted Romans chapter 1, verses 26 onwards. The Bible is clear about such acts. And I don't know so much about the Quran, but obviously the Muslims do not take it lightly to such, and these acts are punishable by death, amongst other things, in the Islamic religion. But when you come to the constitution, which governs each and every one, even religion in the country, it is clearly stated in chapter 5 of the 1992 constitution that no person, it goes like this: every person in Ghana, whatever his race, place of religion, political opinion, color, religion, creed, or gender. Now, this is where another sect of the LGBTQI comes in. I'm talking about transgender. I'm talking about intersex as well. Those who are born with both characteristics. And then we also have the two spirits as well. How do we justify the stance of the Constitution against these persons and say that they have no right to practice whatever they practice, or to stand for which gender they stand for, when the Constitution says that every person in Ghana, whatsoever his race, gender, shall be entitled to the fundamental human rights and freedoms of the individual?
You see, right now, one thing you should know, when you look at this country right now, we have different religious entities right now. But our constitution recognizes only three: traditional, Muslim or Islam, and Christianity. You understand? That is what the constitution recognizes. The same way, when you look at our gender, it is male and female. That's what the constitution recognizes. So the only way they can now make a claim is for us to now change or amend the constitution. Unfortunately for them, the constitution has not been amended. So as we speak, they don't have a case now.
Well, Rev, finally, before I let you go, would you say, I mean, when you look at the constitution of religious bodies in the country, Christians or Christianity forms a greater part, about 76%, the highest religion practiced in the country. Would you say that the resurface or the increase in cases of LGBTQI persons, the certainty of the demand of their rights, is a failure of the Christian institution in the country?
I will. In fact, you said what is on my mind. This is something I've been saying all this while. There's sometimes when I hear that Ghana is a Christian country, I feel like vomiting. It's not true to me. I don't even see that way. Because see, Christianity has two main parts. It stands on two legs. And unfortunately, we, or the Africans, we accepted only one. But when Jesus was introduced to Christianity, he introduced it in two forms. Now, God gave man a mind, and our actions are dependent on the mind. He gave us a heart, and the Spirit of God lives in the heart. Now, watch it. So before Jesus, when Jesus started ministry, even before Jesus, when you read Matthew chapter 3, verse 1, the Bible says John the Baptist, who came to be the forerunner, to come and make the way for Jesus, started his ministry preaching. What was his message? Repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. The word repentance simply means a change of mind. Why was John going around begging people to change their mind? Because until God takes over your mind, he can never affect your behavior. Why? Because the way you think determines how you behave. And God gave man his mind, and there's a power of choice in the mind. So man chooses who to submit that mind to. So when you submit the mind to the mind should always be under the influence of the spirit. So when you submit that mind to any demonic spirit, it affects you to behave that way. So John the Baptist was going around begging, repent, for the kingdom. That was the message out. Telling people that, look, God is here and he needs your mind. Now Jesus came in the book of Matthew chapter 4, verse number 17. The Bible says that Jesus also began to preach, saying, repent, the same message. This is Jesus who came with the Holy Spirit. But he didn't even try to be the Holy Spirit first. He knew that, look, the first thing I need from these people is their mind. You understand? Then later, that's why repentance comes before the Holy Spirit. Why? Because now when they repented, he gave them his spirit. So that the spirit Ghana. We have prayed for people to receive the Spirit, which lives in our hearts. And we have refused to allow that Spirit to take control of their mind. Forgetting what the Bible said in the book of Philippians, that let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Why would the Bible admonish us to allow the mind to be in us? Why? Because when you have the Spirit of God, yes, God can use you to do all kinds of things. But as long as you have not taken control of your mind, you end up committing all kinds of evil things. That's in the book of Matthew chapter 7, verse number 22. Jesus openly said, many will say to me in that day, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? They didn't go to take anything. They were prophesying in the name of Jesus, meaning they had the Spirit of Jesus. Have we not cast out demons in your name and done many wonders in your name? And then Jesus said, I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me. Why would Jesus say that to them? The reason is simple. Who practice lawlessness? The practice all your actions at the time. What Jesus said is that although you accepted my Spirit into your heart, your mind did not conform to my Spirit. So my Spirit couldn't take control of your mind. That's why you can have today a pastor preaching and yet fornicating. You can have people in the churches today praising and dancing to God. Yes, they are fornicating. The reason is that they have received the Spirit of God, but the Spirit has not taken control of their mind.
Well,
this is what we refuse to preach. Everything that is just about the numbers. Now every person's interest is how to gather people. Forgetting that the Bible did not, or God did not send us to go and gather people. He said, go and make disciples. What does that mean? Go and have people who are ready to submit.
Very well, Reverend, not to cut you out, but since time seems to be a factor at this moment, I believe that, I mean, with this, we should perhaps have a whole time dedicated to this very topic so that we can have that lengthy conversation. We are grateful for your time this morning.
I'll let you say this. So from what you said, I would say that we have churchgoers. We don't have Christians in Ghana.
Indeed. Indeed, you made that clear in your submission. You say that it makes you nauseous when we say that Ghana is a Christian country, because indeed the Christianity itself is not being practiced. We are grateful for your word this morning. We pray that the Spirit beholds on all of us so that we do as pleases our Maker. We've been speaking to a Reverend on the line. He has been sharing his thoughts about the LGBTQI. To him, it's something that perhaps the church may have failed in tackling. We are grateful to God for this conversation. We pray that He guides us and leads our path as a country.
I think the latter part was a wonderful sermon.
Yes, it was. It was indeed a sermon.
Yes, and for those of us that already have the Spirit,
bring your offertory, right?
The offertory.
Yeah.
I'll pay that later.
Right.
For those of us that already have the Spirit in us, I think this is enough food. You know, the Word of God is the food for the Spirit. Yes. So I think that's.
So indeed, this is quite people would say a sensitive topic because it cuts across all walks. Interesting revelations Reverend made over there. I don't know if that is also another cause for argument, because when you take a closer look at the practice of carnal knowledge, even amongst married people, there is foreplay, which includes fingering, it includes cunnilingus, fellatio, amongst other things. It includes, I should have asked Reverend if the sucking of breast is also unnatural, because at some point the succulence of a woman's breast is also mentioned in the Bible when you go to the Songs of Solomon, that a woman would please her husband with her breasts. So I wanted to find
that one is vetted and approved by God.
All right.
Vetted and approved.
Vetted and approved by God. Well, thank you very much, Reverend Francis. And so sometimes these things, happen. Not even most often they happen in what we deem as natural carnal knowledge, especially when it's between a man and a woman. Interestingly, even between man and woman, there are such acts as anal sex between a man and a woman. Now, what does this also constitute? Is it also part of those unnatural carnal knowledge, because this time is between a man and a woman. This is quite a deep conversation, and we will dedicate more time to discuss this as well. This has been AM Ghana. By far, we are not gone yet. We are only taking a quick detour. When we come back, we'll be speaking to lawyer John Adoatv in furtherance of the Supreme Court hearing. We'll also find out his view, far as the Constitution is concerned, about the same matter, LGBTQI. But before we go, let's take your comments on Facebook. Before we talk about human rights, let's define rights. Well, so this is from Set Nana Poku. Let those in support start thinking about this statement from me. All right, so Seth now begins to be a philosopher. Would you allow your daughter have an intimate relationship, your wife as a father or son, with father as a wife? Well, interesting question there from Seth. Now, if they say it's their right, they should confront their creator, not us. Mo na mo ble. Mo na mo ble. So this is from Seth Nanapogo. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. You can also do the same on Facebook at Adoatv. You want to share?
Yes, while we are at it, a friend of mine, Ernest, a champion, he just sent me a message, and he's saying that for the woman to woman there, that one no share that they worry. For the woman to woman there, that one no share that they worry. So apparently, the part where you were asking the pastor about the unnatural canon knowledge and how some people believe it doesn't apply to women because there's no penetration and all that. And Ernest is actually saying for that one they know the shit that they worry. So.
Yeah, I think they worry because it is not just, you see, it's not just about the penetration of the male sex organ inside a female sex organ, but if it is not between a man and a man, if it's not between a man and a woman, and it's between two of the same sex, then there is a problem. So in as much as there is no penetration, there is carnal knowledge between a woman and a woman.
Or
so
a man and a man.
For the man and the man, there is equally penetration. Yes. So that one, it is not arguable. But for those women, and then also as the Constitution says that there will be no infringement of rights based on gender. You know, there are transgender people whose gender is not very clear. There is the intersex as well who have not necessarily become transgender. There are those who call themselves two spirits, those who have both male sex organs and female sex organ at the same time. Some may have breasts in the penis, or you know, in different ways. They are also there. Now, these are people whose gender is not clear. Now, when you go out filling a form and they get to gender, it's M or F. There is no T. There is no IS for intersex. There is no 2S for two spirits, or what so have you. And so, is the Constitution going around itself? Or perhaps, well, there are more questions to ask. We'll be finding out from lawyer John Adoatv. You're watching AM Ghana. We'll be right back after this break.
John, what you mean? Wow, Eddie, one point, Juma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatek. Oh, now some roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catcher? Asatek roofing sheet today, and your nice keke with the bodan swa a chee and renache. They want to call us a hood of a fair bray. No free roofing sheet, no dear. Who near that will be out. Now, so the bodan swa a hero supampe. What means which Roman send your open roofing sheet? You tell the summer pepe. Mamma poor Asatek when you're there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers and so on your on-site installation. Oh yes, quality and Asatek 5 days pay now can order. Now a year after sales service proper being so. Asatek Watema Community 2 Meridian Road at Benkoko Board Warehouse Western Region. So Asatek Watakrade Anaji Yeni Princeland Hotel and edition and a Volta Region Yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwainusuwa.
Announcements on Adoatv. Contact Adoatv for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at the work premises. Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it, and wash your hands with soap and running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868. Or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Numun supan na wanya pomuden. Se wo benum nsu a, hwe hu se eye Migo purified mineral water. Eye nsu a yetu ni baby pa. Asaso ni so se kroje. Se wonya Migo purified mineral water bogu ubu a, wo see you manum supa. Migo mineral water de edanso. Esan say the modern technology so na ye. Ede ne nkabia ni atri. Migo purified mineral water. Bacteria na mhen wa berem. Eye very hygienic. Obia di wadanse. Migo mineral water neatly packaged with 500 ml bottles mu. Na wani boswa na okon donsio. Wo benya Migo purified mineral water to bebia. To phone call dodo wa amount for Tipa Junction. Ana fre 050 7055 409 ana 055 392 1088. Migo purified mineral water. Akona kono.
And that's when you sign. Now, vaccine mixture, no in the soup.
Da bread malaria near would you be prepared? Ah, hey, that's in mix and near ocean one what you are. No, I'm young red. Wapas, chicken one. That's in mixture, that's in mixture, that's in mixture. So, and Vanya grow. I want to know. No, that's in me.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching AM Ghana here on Adoatv Television. You're being stirred by your most humble servant, Reggie Addy. Here with Francis Kusiapia. We'll be speaking about the Supreme Court proceedings so far. Today, we're about to see a hearing as well far as the election 2020 petition is concerned. We'll be speaking to lawyer John Agbote, who is on the line. Lawyer, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to have you again.
Good to talk to you this morning again.
Very well. And so, lawyer, today we are bound to see another hearing at the Supreme Court. Now, the question is that the petitioner, after having filed for a reopening of the case, which would have served as a bridge to subpoena Madam Jane Mensah, had that thrown out by the court. Now they are filing for a review of the same by the judges. How is this supposed to be so?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. The petitioner's lawyers have the right to review. I see normally we go for reviews when the decision is not unanimous.
Okay.
Normally, there's no law that says that you only go for review when the decision is not unanimous.
Okay.
As you say, you are going to appeal to the conscience of the judges who have made a decision. Now, 7 of them have made the same decision. 7-0. They both decided to go one way. It will be difficult for you to turn the minds of the majority the other way around. So normally, if it is 5-4 or 3-4 or something, then you can say, okay, because when you go, they'll add 2 more. And the 2 more may be on your side. That may overturn the decision. But the 7-0 thing, that is why we are seeing all the reviews fail, because if it is 0-0, you get 0-0-0. It's difficult for you to turn the other way round. But all that notwithstanding, they still have the right to go for a review. It is clear what the lawyer for the petitioner is doing now. He is saying that he's losing out everything on the application. And the reaction from the public is making it look like lawyers, the judges have taken a side against him. And so he too wants to play more to the conscience of Ghanaians by throwing more applications and let them go the unanimous way, so that it will kind of throw them, put the judges in a situation that Ghanaians may say that, oh, well, either they have something against him or they are not being fair to him or something. This is all that is playing out. Because it's obvious, it's likely, it's not obvious, likely these two may not end anywhere, but let's see how it plays out.
All right. I don't know if you're a football fan or if you do betting, but if you were to bet, what would be the odds? Do you think that anything may go in favor for the petitioners, considering also that they seem to be playing around the court of public opinion? Could that also have an influence on what the court might say today?
I doubt. You rightly said it. They said to be playing to or trying to get the sympathy of the court of public opinion. And that is mainly what the game has turned to now. Because normally, that's what I said, normally, most lawyers wouldn't go for a review in a 7-0 situation. Yes.
Well, now let's come to an issue about what the petitioner is constantly pushing for, to subpoena Madam Jean Mensa. Now, the court of public opinion again is of the opinion or view that Madam Jean Mensa seems to be a central focus or a person of interest in this petition. Now, most of the allegations made by the petitioner has direct reference to Madam Jean Mensa, who is a returning officer for the presidential elections. Consequently, in the errors that were recorded prior to the announcement of the second respondent as the winner for the 2020 elections. Now, the court of public opinion is of the view that common sense as a form of practice should come in or should appeal to the respondents, the lawyers or the counsel for the respondents, to allow Madam Jean Mensa to come and clear the air. I want to find out from you, lawyer, at which point does common sense come to play in a jurisdiction of law?
Thank you. Common sense plays a role all the time in law. That is, let me say this, that is what lawyers normally refer to as the inherent jurisdiction.
Very well.
Of the court. That inherent jurisdiction is the discretion to exercise common sense. So what is not captured by law, what is not written in black and white, it is that power is put in the judges to exercise. So let me say, if you ask about common sense, there's always at play in the judicial process or the adjudication process. But you see, where we are now, it is the impression or the opinion of people in the, let me say, the public domain, who think that Madame de Mensa is a material witness in this matter. So even though she has the right to say that I will not mount the witness box to give evidence, in the interest of the public, for the sake of the public, the Ghanaian public, who need you in the box. And the minister is also saying that I have a personal right to mount the box or not, and have decided to choose the latter. So it is her fundamental human right, playing against the opinion of the people in the public domain. So that one, you know, right? I've been saying this. Do we wait right? Are rights weighted? If rights are to be weighted, then the right or the opinion of the majority, that's the public, to supersede that of Madame Jane Mensa. And if rights are not weighted, then she has the right to say her own time, and that ends the matter.
Well, and so now, lawyer, speaking about rights, I want to take you on a quick detour. What do we term as rights as per the 1992 Constitution?
If you say a right, according to the Constitution, a right is the liberty to do something or not to do something. That is essentially what the Constitution captures as a right. We have so you see, this issue of rights, freedom, human rights thing started after the Second World War. So the people were, you know, during the Second World War, a lot of inhuman activities went on. People were deprived of their fundamental human rights, the right to life and the right to food, right to water, right to things, right to everything. So the advent of the Second World War brought into the fore the issue of right. That's why we all put it in our Constitution. So right basically is the discretion to do something or not to do something. And some are fundamental and they are entrenched ones, like the one Madame de Mensa is choosing to exercise. So,
okay. So
if you ask me, I'll say it's a matter of right. It's a matter of right, and she has decided not to go. And even not even the Supreme Court, she can be subpoenaed. But even subpoena, according to some school of thought, it's a violation of the rights of people.
Right.
Subpoena. Yeah, some school or some legal school of thought say subpoena is a violation of the rights of people.
Interesting.
So if that right is entrenched, fundamental, the subpoena should not be able to take it from the person. A subpoena takes that away from it. But as I keep saying, all the rights and all the liberties that we restore, the court has a final say in it. In all the court can still say, Madame de Mensa, whether you speak in the box or not, still mount it. And she'll come and mount. It is up to her to come and speak and say, I won't say anything. Well, that's one. I don't think any human being could be forced to talk because the mouth operates naturally. No human being can open and close your mouth and make a voice come out of it. So when you say himself, that is it.
Interesting. Now, do you think, lawyer, that the Constitution, Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution, which speaks about fundamental human rights and freedoms, is a little flawed in this regard? If you want me to throw more light, here Madame Jane Mensa says that she has the right, she has the right not to testify to this very case. Now, the Constitution, now Section 12, under Chapter 5, 12.2, every person in Ghana, whatsoever is, it goes on, but it ends this chapter, but subject to respect for the rights and freedom of others and for the public interest. Public interest. And so the public also has a right to demand accountability of a person that holds public office. Do you think that these two rights could conflict or perhaps could be used in any way to get Madam Mensa to account for what constituted the errors and how they were rectified, as is being sought by the petitioner?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, you just read out chapter 5 of the Constitution.
Yes.
And all the rights under chapter 5 are mostly fundamental human rights, or fundamental human rights that are inviolable. They are rights you cannot take from the person who has it. But at the same end of it, I spoke of public interest. That's what I'm saying, that in the interest of the public, normally, when there is a conflict of rights, the balance always goes in favor of the public policy.
Right.
Yes, the balance always goes in favor of public policy. If it will be in the interest of the public for her to speak, then she must be prepared to speak, even though she also has the right. But as I say, some of the things cannot be captured. It is in the interest of the public for her to mount the box and talk. But she mounts the box and says that I will not talk. What do you do?
Interesting. But I believe that the court could perhaps level some deterrent measures to make her speak at least. But anyways, that is for the petitioners to argue out. Now, lawyer, I'm taking you on a quick detour. Far as human rights and freedom is concerned, comes a group, LGBTQI. They are demanding their rights and freedoms as citizens. They are part of the public. They also have an interest. But human rights activists, amongst other things, amongst other persons, have kicked against this group of LGBTQI. Lawyer, what is your stance for this group?
My stance is the stance of the laws in Ghana. Yeah, the laws in Ghana, the Ghanaian laws do not support such things, LGBT. You know, chapter 11 of the Constitution includes customary laws in our laws.
Yes.
If you take the Act 29, which is the criminal code of 1960, if you look at section 104 A and B, you look at it, you realize that we don't have much to restrain people from involving in that act. So we don't have much, because it's only talking about unnatural carnal knowledge.
Right.
And that's one, carnal knowledge, you have to prove carnal knowledge. You must prove penetration into the woman. So it's like limited to man and woman. So obviously there is no specific stance or no restriction in the laws, in the criminal laws of Ghana. But you see, the Constitution in Article 11 includes the customary laws as part of the laws in Ghana. So when the Constitution is saying that the laws in Ghana include customary laws. Customary laws are our personal laws. Where I am from, the Ewa land or the Nangbe land, the laws that prevail there, the customary laws that prevail there, are part of the Ghanaian law. That the account laws are part of the Ghanaian law. The Gonja laws are part of the Ghanaian law. And all the customary laws in Ghana are found on this lesbianism and gayism.
Yes,
so
but lawyer, don't these customary laws bind on persons who find themselves within those very customs? Don't these customary laws bind on persons who find themselves within the confines of those specific customs?
Of course, and you are born into the custom.
But there is freedom of association as well. So I can decide, or one may decide to disassociate themselves from these customs from their own customs.
And you see, that is different from religious practice. This one is a natural.
Hello? We seem to be losing lawyer John Agbote. We're getting to an interesting part of the conversation. He's dissected so far some aspects of what we're bound to respect today at the Supreme Court. Now, your question about where common sense comes in the exercise of jurisdiction is what they call the inherent jurisdiction. And he still says that that's the rest in the hands of the judges as well. We'll try and get a lawyer John Agbote back on the line. As and when we get him, we're getting to the very interesting part of what seems to dominate our discussions today. So it's all about freedoms, rights, and it's quite dicey there. Where you think you have freedom and rights, this freedom and rights is also subject to the respect of the rights and freedoms of others and for the public interest. What is the public interest? Should we allow for these groups, LGBTQI or LGBT, amongst other things that we call them? We have lawyer back on the line. Lawyer, thanks for joining us again.
It's a pleasure, my brother. Sorry, the line went off.
Right. So you were making a point.
I was saying that freedom of association is different from what we are talking about. If it's a religion or something, fine. But you have been born an account. You cannot change your natural orientation. You can decide to be a Ghanaian or not be a Ghanaian. But you cannot say that you have not been born an account. You cannot say that you have been born, you have not been born an account. So what I'm saying is that they see themselves as exercising the right, and that they have that right to exercise. No problem. As I always say, there are people who also have rights that they are exercising. But those rights, once the law frowns on it, we see them as criminals. The lady who wants to sell out herself for money has her own body that she gives to men for money. It is her right. She has a right to do it, especially she exercises. But that discretion is illegal. There are people who plan to commit organized crime. They plan to either traffic human beings, or they plan to go and rob, or they plan to go and do. They have common interests. They conspire to do. But the law says that interest that you have that you are exercising, or that right that you have there exercising, is a criminal one. So when the law gets you, the law will deal with you according to the law. So they have rights, but those rights are best be equated to the rights of an armed robber, the rights of a prostitute, the rights of anybody who does anything illegal. And that is the right. And that's why we are saying that within the Ghanaian society, within the laws of Ghana, within the confines of the customary laws of Ghana, those things are frowned upon by our laws and must not be entertained. Listen, I agree that society is dynamic. Britain, that even originated this whole thing, until 1967, used not to allow it at all. And in fact, in the 19th century, particularly 1861, more people were killed as a result of homicide than any other crime in Britain. You see, so it was a very heinous crime to commit in those days. But as society changed, they got to a point that even in 1967, the Church of England, together with the Senate, agreed to give them right to people who were more than 21 years to practice homosexuality. And it started. But look, we had a ruler of Britain in the person of Margaret Thatcher, who banned every funding from government that actually promoted this homosexuality. She banned it in 1988, and so recently when it was repealed. So in fact, Britain itself has a checkered record as to this LGBTQI. So it is not something they have agreed to practice and they are practicing. We have been lucky. By 1960, we have become a republic. So we had our constitution prepared, and we had our laws, which were based on the received laws of 1856. Those laws did not, in fact, for example, lesbianism. Lesbianism has never been outlawed in the history of the UK. At no point has lesbianism been outlawed. And that is what we also imported into our law. And that is why our criminal code does not find a specific word to bind or to bound, how do you call it? To bind lesbianism. To bound lesbianism. So lesbianism has been free, let me still say, and all the laws have been concerned, how do you call it? Homosexuality, that's homicide, man to man, and all that.
Right.
But for lesbianism, we find it difficult. And as we speak now, there isn't one law that is on pinpoint that bans lesbianism.
Great. I believe this is because of the controversy of the definition of carnal knowledge, natural carnal knowledge.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Now we are unable to say that any carnal knowledge between female and female is illegal. We are unable to say that because our laws have a background that is the British law. And the British law itself has never banned it. So we also found it difficult to inculcate that in our laws.
Right.
That is why it is like that. But what we are saying is that all this notwithstanding, these laws are foreign. They have come. And the foreign law that we use in our court and other things is unable to pinpoint a particular clause or law that bans all this. Unless you pick them one after the other. Pick the customary law here from the Constitution, pick section 104 from the code, and other ones to support it to make a case.
Right.
However, we as Ghanaians, our background frowns on it, and I see it as illegal, and that is my point on it.
So where do we stand? Where do we stand? If the customary laws frowns against all of this, yet the Constitution, of which the customary laws are a part of, makes some provision, especially, I mean, when you look at LGBTQI, there is the T, that's transgenders, who the Constitution says will not be, the rights will not be violated upon based on their gender. Their gender is transgender. How about this sect as well?
That is a very interesting interpretation of the Constitution. I've never even adapted my mind to it.
Okay.
Because but so that I am a man as I speak now, because I should not be discriminated based on gender, then I decide that I am a woman. I don't think that is what the Constitution seeks to achieve. There's always a spirit to every Constitution.
Very well.
There's a letter and there's a spirit. And the spirit of the Constitution, I don't think would accommodate that interpretation of that position of the Constitution.
All right. Well, lawyer, thank you very much. This one was a detour. We didn't inform you that we would take you there. Thank you very much for your honest and candid opinion.
No problem about that.
All right. Lawyer John Agbute is as the name suggests, a legal practitioner. He's our friend, and he's always giving us updates as far as the Supreme Court proceedings is concerned. He just shared some insights about LGBTQI. The Constitution has a say, the customary laws has a say. What do you think? Lawyer John Agbute has made his submissions. What do you think? You can call us right now. The numbers will be at the base of your television set. Call us and share your thoughts or what you feel about this with us. We have our first caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Okay. Who do we have on the line, Selassie?
It is Albert Ego from the Supreme Court.
Albert Ego.
So our Supreme Court correspondent, Albert Ego, is on the line. Albert, good morning.
Very good morning, Francis.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine. And you?
We are doing good. So before we called you earlier on, myself and Reginald Daddy, we were actually saying that you need to introduce us to your sponsor now. Adi actually said you have a sponsor, so you need to introduce us.
Oh, I don't have any sponsor.
Okay, so well, you'll talk about that when you come out.
I'm still in my Valentine celebrations, and so I think that's.
Oh,
hey, Bleda.
All right, then Albert, tell us at the Supreme Court what is happening currently, because it's 9:30. It's 9:35 actually.
Exactly. And so today, at the Supreme Court, I'm currently here, and then proceedings have already started. Per my knowledge, the lead counsel for the petitioner is still not in court, but his co-learned lawyer, Ponilita, is in court and has taken his position of starting proceedings on behalf of the petitioner. I've also cited Justin Amenufo and A.A. Somwa. I've started. Okay, Tatuchekata just entered, and so that is the new information to us. Lawyer Akotampa is also in. Frank Davis is also in, and so that is what is currently happening now. Most of the representatives of the parties are in. EC Chair is in with her deputy. Nana Opoko Ajeman is also in, and then Peter McMino is equally in.
Okay, so you said they have actually commenced here. The judges are in already?
Yes, the judges are in, but Tatuchikata just stepped into the court, which means that he has been late for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So that's that.
Okay. Well, since proceedings have already commenced, we will leave you to monitor and do your work. So at the end of proceedings, we will come back to you and you'll give us an update what what happened there inside the Supreme Court. Thank you very much, Albert.
Definitely. But if I can put this in, today we are looking at two things on board. We are looking at the review filed by the petitioner to reconsider the dismissed case of reopening of the petitioner's case. And also, we are going to focus on a stay of proceedings until review is being reconsidered. However, the court is expected to give a date for final judgment of this election petition.
Today?
Yes, today. They are supposed to give a date for us to, for them to give the final verdict of the election petition.
Okay. All right then. Do well to monitor proceedings. We will come back to you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay, so Albert Ego Elekplem, he has been our eye in the Supreme Court, and he brings out all the updates and all that. So since proceedings have actually started, any moment from now we'll be crossing over to the Supreme Court to bring you live pictures.
We're actually crossing over now. So
okay.
It's just right that we sign out. My name has been Reggie, and count your blessings, name them one by one until I see you tomorrow.
Well, my name is Francis Kusi, and I am the Chairman Junior. We will come your way tomorrow with another exciting edition of AM Ghana on Adoatv Television. Keep safe.
All right, let's go to the Supreme Court. Prosecution.